Chapter 5200. Was he dead? Were all those terrifying dragon race experts dead? In their eyes, the scarlet flame dragon god was a godlike existence. When he first arrived, he defeated them with just a look. He was the strongest person in the world. They couldn't resist at all. In the end, they became prisoners. Now, such a person had been killed. Who was this young man in front of them? No, he wasn't human. He was a god. He was a godlike existence. Greetings, exalted immortal. They kept worshipping him. Exalted immortal, you've done us a favor. From now on, exalted immortals will be respected. The world core flew out and floated into the sky. The corners of Lin Xian's lips curled up. Very good. He had obtained a realm core. From now on, no one would be able to attack them. He waved his hand and sent out the 9 suns illusion into the ground. Then, endless fire spirit veins quickly gathered and rolled. A monstrous and terrifying power was forming. I've set up the 9 suns array here. It's an extremely powerful fire array. Combined with the power of fire in your world, even a sage would die. Thank you, exalted immortal. The cultivators on the fiery star were overjoyed. With such an array, they would be safe in the future. Fire Dragon Lady also flew over, her face full of shock. Were they really dead? They had all fallen. Lin Xian nodded. They couldn't withstand a single blow. Come back with me. Return to the buried Emperor Star, save your family, and take revenge on the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. Then, the two of them turned into lightning and disappeared into the universe. The people in the outer space looked into the distance in shock. Was the battle over? It couldn't be, right? Shouldn't such people fight for months or even years? One had to know that it was very difficult to kill a top expert in one move. But now, the phenomenon in front of them had disappeared. They were bewildered as they flew forward. They came to the place where the battle had taken place and felt the remnant aura. They were terrified. It was too terrifying. There was sage blood here. Why do I feel like it's the aura of the dragon race? Did an expert of the dragon race die? They sucked in a cold breath. This must be the fiery star. It was said that the blazing flame dragon lord had once led the experts of the dragon race here, mining the flame divine crystals. Could it be that the person who fought before was the scarlet flame dragon monarch? It was very likely. But where was he now? Could he be dead? That was impossible, right? Who could defeat such a terrifying existence? Have you noticed? The person fighting the blazing flame dragon monarch was surrounded by a terrifying illusion of the sun. That person was also an incredible expert. Was he from the Golden Crow clan that possessed the illusion of the sun? No, the Golden Crow clan only had one sun phantom. That person had 9, the 9 young divine body. Someone exclaimed. This kind of young divine physique was the strongest physique under the starry sky. These people naturally knew. No, I heard that Lin Wudi with the 9 young divine body was killed by the extreme weapon of the 1,000 Dragon Court in Solar Divine Palace a few years ago. It was impossible for a second 9 young divine body to appear in this world. Then who was the person from before? They were extremely puzzled. Could it be that Lin Wudi was still alive and had come to take revenge on the Scarlet Flame Saint? That was impossible. How could he survive the attack of an extreme weapon? Even the Dragon Prince was killed by an extreme weapon. No matter how strong he was, he couldn't have survived. It was said that he didn't have anything on him that could save his life. But how could that be explained? Only Lin Wudi would take revenge on the Scarlet Flame Dragon Monarch. It was said that the Blazing Flame Dragon Monarch had tipped off Lin Wudi, causing him to be hunted down by an extreme weapon. This Lin Wudi was too mysterious. He could even kill the Dragon Prince. Was there anything he couldn't do? Perhaps he really wasn't dead. Thinking of this possibility, these people sucked in a breath of cold air. Let's not talk about it. This isn't something we can imagine. Let's go. These people returned to their respective worlds. They weren't from the buried Emperor Star. They were just people from the nearby starfields. After returning, they spread the news to the cultivators in their respective worlds. Those people were extremely shocked when they heard it. No way, Lin Wudi wasn't dead. It was too inconceivable. Why did it feel like a dream? If it really was Lin Wudi, then a huge storm was coming. There was probably going to be a huge battle on the buried Emperor star. Countless people looked up at the starry sky. What happened to that mysterious star? Buried Emperor star. The two silhouettes arrived quietly without alerting anyone. They were hiding in the forest. They were Lin Xian and Fire Dragon Lady. I wonder how those people are doing. Lin Xian was very worried about Murong Qingqing and the others. Fire Dragon Lady said, I know some things, but I don't know much about it in recent years. What happened before? Lin Xian asked. Fire Dragon Lady said that the 4 Emperor-level figures who joined forces with you are all fine. They have extreme weapons in their hands and are working together. They also have the resources of their families. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had attacked them before, but they were helpless. But, hearing that Murong Qingqing and the others were not in danger, Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. Soon, he asked again, but what? The Black Sea no longer existed. The 10,000 dragon picture had attacked the Black Sea dragon race. Although they had resisted, the Black Sea had already been torn apart. Countless demonic beasts had fallen and turned into a sea of blood. It was like hell. It wasn't just the Black Sea dragon race. The other families were also being suppressed. For example, the Fire Dragon race became prisoners. Some people from the Dugu family and the Nalan family were killed and heavily injured. The martialists of the Divine Union no longer dared to leave the path. They were even inexplicably injured in the path. It could be said that no one related to the Divine Union had a good life. Lin Xian's face darkened when he heard this. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty was courting death. He was really angry. This time, not only did he want to take revenge on the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty, but he also wanted to let the world know that there was no good ending for those who allied with the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Let's save the Fire Dragon race first, Lin Xian said. Fire Dragon Girl's face lit up. Really? Thank you, Lin Gongzi. Lin Xian shook his head. This matter started because of me. I will give you a satisfactory explanation. The two of them quickly set off for the Fire Dragon race. The Fire Dragon race was no longer glorious. The entire Fire Dragon race had become prisoners. The ones controlling them were the Wind Dragon race. The Wind Dragon race had always sided with the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Now that they were in control of the Fire Dragon race, they were naturally very happy. The Fire Dragon race's territory and various resources were all under their control. On top of that, they could also control the life and death of the Fire Dragon race. They had even started to use the dragon blood of the Fire Dragon race. It was used to purify their bloodline. At the moment, the Fire Dragon race was full of vitality. Many of them were chained and injured. Every day, they had to contribute their dragon blood. There were countless large cauldrons in the mansion. Inside, a bloody light flickered with astonishing power. Chapter 5201. The Fire Dragon race was in a pitiful state. The Fire Dragon race roared in a frenzy. Damn it, if you have the ability, give us a quick death. If you torture us like this, you will suffer retribution. Retribution? The Wind Dragon race laughed out loud. Stupid things. Now that Lin Wudi is dead, who dares to attack us? In the future, the world will belong to the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. All of you can go and die. An arrogant voice rang out. You dare. At this moment, a cold shout spread out. Shortly after, a person appeared in the residence like a streak of light. Who was it? The Wind Dragon race frowned. At the next moment, they were stunned. It's you. Why are you here? The members of the Fire Dragon clan were also stunned. It was the princess of the Fire Dragon race, Fire Dragon Princess. Wasn't she sent to the Flame Star to dig for Flame God crystals? Why did she come back? Are you alone? The Wind Dragon race laughed coldly. Good, your bloodline is stronger. I think it can improve my bloodline. A young man from the Wind Dragon clan walked over and reached out his hand to grab Fire Dragon Lady. Hong. An earth-shattering sound rang out. With a scream, the genius of the Wind Dragon race flew out. His palm shattered and his face was filled with fear. You dare to hurt me? He roared in a frenzy. Men, suppress him. I want him to live a life worse than death. The surrounding Wind Dragon race members all walked over. The Fire Dragon race members were in despair. Princess, run. They shouted. Fire Dragon Princess didn't escape at all. She stood there, and a person appeared behind her. It was a black-robed man, Lin Xian. After Lin Xian came out, he looked around. Wind Dragon Race, kneel down and accept your death. Who are you? The Wind Dragon Race members roared in rage. Fire Dragon Princess, since you dare to resist, then don't blame us for being impolite. Attack. With a command, the Wind Dragon clan's people quickly rushed over. Lin Xian scoffed coldly. A cold aura appeared in his eyes. Monstrous flames swept in all directions. In an instant, the entire world turned into a sun world. The people from the Wind Dragon Race froze. They felt the scorching flames and became terrified. It was as if the other party could tear them to pieces with just a glance. Who are you? They were terrified. Just a single strand of the other party's aura was enough to make them so scared. He was probably an extremely terrifying senior figure. Lin Xian took off his cloak and looked forward. What? You don't even recognize me. What? It's you. Lin Wudi. How can you still be alive? The people of the Wind Dragon Race were terrified. Run. They wanted to leave, but Lin Xian snorted coldly. 9 suns split the heavens. Endless suns flew out and enveloped all the people of the Wind Dragon tribe. Flames swept across the sky, burning heaven and earth. The experts of the Wind Dragon clan were all annihilated. The next moment, the Sun Phantom disappeared. The people of the Fire Dragon Race were all stunned. Did he die? Did the Wind Dragon clan all perish? Heavens, what kind of method was this? They looked at the young man in front of them, and their bodies began to sway. Lin Gongzi, you're still alive. That's great. They cried tears of joy. With Lin Xian alive, there was hope. They could turn the tables. Lin Xian formed a seal with his palms. The longevity battle armor flew out and continued to expand. It covered the entire residence. The injured Fire Dragon Race cultivators were covered by the powerful life force of the longevity battle armor. The cracks on their bodies quickly healed. What a terrifying life force. These people were even more shocked. Lin Xian was like a god. He could control life and death with a raise of his hand. Greetings, Leader Lin Gongzi. 5 minutes later, the people of the Fire Dragon Race gathered together. They bowed respectfully to Lin Xian. Lin Xian nodded and then looked at Fire Dragon Lady. Take your clansmen to hide and recuperate. Young master, what about you? Fire Dragon Lady asked. She said that they could attack together. Lin Xian shook his head. No, all of you should gather your strength first and wait for the time when I need you. When I need you, I'll summon you. Yes, we understand. Fire Dragon Lady waved her hand and led the people of the Fire Dragon Race away. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. Next was the Nalan family. His allies, the Dugu family, were all suppressed. They were suppressed by the Thunder Dragon Race and the Sword Dragon Race. They were living very miserably. Lin Xian attacked and killed the people of the Thunder Dragon Race and the Wind Dragon Race. He saved the Nalan family and the Dugu family. Lin Gongzi, it's great that you're still alive. Greetings, Lin Gongzi. Patriarch Nalan, Patriarch Dugu, and the others were so excited that they shed tears. They finally saw hope. Lin Xian said, rest well and recover. Leave the rest to me. This was only the beginning. Lin Xian would not stop here. The deaths of these dragon race cultivators set off a small storm. However, the majority of people on the buried Emperor Star had not received the news. In their opinion, Lin Xian had already fallen. Let's return to the Divine Union first. Lin Xian returned to the ancient city and walked towards the path. He strolled leisurely, but his figure was incomparably ethereal. Every step he took was like lightning. People with ordinary strength could not see him at all. Elder Yi had returned from the Sacred Origin Tower. He was an elder of the Yi family. He had gone to the Abyss Tower to inquire about some things. When he returned, he narrowed his eyes. The current situation was surging like a storm. Lin Xian had fallen. The Dragon Prince had fallen. The next battle between the Thearchs would probably be even more intense. He had to make preparations for Yu Wu Dao. Suddenly, he was stunned and his pupils shrank. It seemed like someone had just passed by. However, he did not catch sight of the figure at all. An expert. He hurriedly used his soul spirit to investigate. Under his powerful soul spirit, he discovered a figure. The figure was dressed in black and was strolling leisurely. His speed was extremely fast. What a strange movement technique. When did such a person come to the ancient city? Moreover, it was a young figure? He was shocked. Could it be that another the arch had come? He examined it even more carefully. Suddenly, his pupils constricted. Could it be? He caught sight of the black-robed figure in front of him. He saw the side of his face. This made him feel as if he had been struck by lightning. When he took a closer look, the person had already disappeared. Impossible. Was it him? Why was he here? Didn't he die in the Sun Palace? He realized that the person's side profile looked very similar to Lin Wudi's. Was he really back? Was he not dead? No, this was big news. Although the Yi family elder was not sure, he had to hurry back and inform Yi Wudao. This figure was naturally Lin Xian. Lin Xian arrived near the path. Before he entered, he heard people talking about how miserable the current Divine Union was. That's right. The Divine Union's boss, Lin Wudi, had fallen. Ruzalong and Toad had also escaped. The current Divine Union was in a precarious situation. Coupled with the crazy suppression of the Dragon Palace, it was very miserable. I reckon that in a few days, the Divine Union will decline and disappear completely. Chapter 5202. Lin Xian frowned when he heard that. Then, his body flashed and he entered the path. He flew toward the Divine Union. At that moment, the Divine Union's mountain gate had been destroyed and many cracks had appeared on the surrounding walls. The array formation was also dim. Lin Xian was about to enter when he heard some people arguing inside the Divine Union. Some people sighed. Looks like we won't be able to hold on for much longer. Bai Susu said in a low voice. What's wrong? Have you lost your confidence? We can definitely pass on. Senior Sister Bai, don't blame me for saying this, but what's the situation in the Divine Union now? I think everyone is well aware of it. The Dragon Palace won't let us off, so the Divine Union is finished. The one who spoke was a woman. She wore blue clothes, and her appearance was also delicate and beautiful. However, there was a cold glint in her eyes. She was called Bingyu. Another person in starry armor stepped forward. That's right. In my opinion, Boss Lin shouldn't have killed the Dragon Prince. This person was called 7-Star. What do you mean by that? Yuren stepped forward and shouted coldly. Nailin Liang and the others glared at him. 7-Star said, think about it. All of this happened after the death of the Dragon Emperor. If we had just defeated the Dragon Prince and spared his life, the Divine Union wouldn't have ended up like this. You, how dare you question Boss Lin? Yuren and the others were trembling with anger. 7-Star said in a low voice. Not only did Boss Lin offend the 10,000 Dragon Court, but he also offended the Golden Crow tribe, the Purple Mansion tribe, the Blue tribe, and the Dragon Sea tribe. These were all ancient families and peerless sections. Every one of them could sweep away an entire region. Now that he's dead, we're the ones who have to suffer. Shut up. Bai Susu stepped forward and snorted. 7-Star, Bingyu, what do the two of you mean? Our intentions are clear. The current Divine Union is no longer the Divine Union of the past. We have no way of contending with the Dragon Palace. There are only two paths left. 1. Disband the Divine Union. 2. Bow down to the Dragon Palace and beg for mercy. That's impossible. Yuren shouted angrily. What was the Dragon Palace? We will never bow down and beg for mercy. We can only disband then. 7-Star sneered. Bai Susu said that it was impossible to disband. She had promised Lin Xian that the Divine Union had to be maintained. Bingyu sneered. Senior Sister Bai, your father is an elder of the Dao sect. Your life is not in danger. But we are different. We don't dare to go against Dragon Palace anymore. Otherwise, we will all die. The other members of the Divine Union also started to discuss this. Bai Susu's complexion turned awful. He knew that the morale of the people had plummeted ever since news of Lin Xian's death had spread. Coupled with Bingyu and 7-Star's instigation, the Divine Union would find it hard to maintain itself. The Divine Union would not disperse, nor would it lower its head to anyone else. At this moment, a voice rang out. Everyone was stunned. 7-Star also said, the third path was for everyone to die without a doubt. Did he want everyone in the Divine Union to die along with him? Bai Susu was stunned. This voice sounded familiar. Who could it be? He looked in all directions. In the next moment, she discovered that the outside of the array was flickering. Someone was there. She rushed out and saw a figure standing outside. It was a man in a black robe. Who are you? She was extremely nervous. Lin Xian took off his cloak and said, "It's me." Bai Susu froze as if he had been struck by lightning. Her eyes turned red in disbelief. It was like a dream. Behind her, the members of the Divine Union were stunned. What was going on? Why was Senior Sister Bai standing there in a daze? Damn it, could it be that the people of Dragon Palace had come to fight? Damn it, let's fight it out with them. Nalan Liang and Yuren also rushed over. When they arrived at the entrance, they were also stunned and their bodies started to tremble. The members of the three gods frowned when they saw this. Could the enemies from Dragon Palace be so strong that Senior Sister Bai and the other two were unable to resist? Bingyu said coldly, "Did you see that? We are no match for Dragon Palace right now. Therefore, we will admit defeat immediately when the experts from Dragon Palace arrive. If you want to die, you can continue attacking. In any case, I won't do that." The others were in an uproar when they heard this. It looked like that was the only way. On the other side, 7-Star smiled. "Don't worry, we are all geniuses. Even if the Divine Union is gone, we can still form other factions and continue to survive. We can even carry forward and ascend to the next level." Then, he clenched his fists. He could already imagine leaving the Divine Union and forming the 7-Star Pavilion. The people behind were discussing. 7-Star and Bingyu had already made up their minds. However, the eyes of Bai Susu and the other two were red. They weren't dreaming, right? Is it really you? The three of them were stunned. Lin Xian smiled. "Of course, it's me. Why? Are you blocking the entrance and not letting me in? How dare you? Boss, hurry up and invite me in." Yuren and the others smiled and made way. Lin Xian walked in with the three of them following closely behind. The people from Dragon Palace had arrived. The people inside were nervous. Bingyu hurriedly walked forward. 7-Star continued to rope in people. In a while, he would bring a group of experts to form the 7-Star Pavilion. "Don't worry, friends from Dragon Palace. We won't be enemies with you. We will lower our heads and admit defeat." Bingyu walked forward with large strides. However, the smile on her face froze, and she stood there in a daze. A moment later, she was so frightened that she almost knelt on the ground. "Are you a human or a ghost?" she screamed. The surrounding people also stepped forward and exclaimed in surprise. No way, were they dreaming? Had the other party returned? 7-Star's back was facing everyone as he conversed with some experts. He promised extremely good conditions. As long as these people followed him to form the 7-Star Pavilion, he wouldn't treat them unfairly. These geniuses furrowed their brows tightly. The Divine Union had done them a favor, but this 7-Star actually wanted to take away the Divine Union's resources and rope them in to form another faction. How despicable. Someone was about to retort when they suddenly heard a cry in front of them and looked up. A moment later, they were also startled. Then, joy appeared on their faces as they all rushed over. "Damn it, I haven't finished speaking yet. Don't you want to cooperate with me?" 7-Star was furious. He snorted and turned to capture these people. However, when he saw the black-robed figure in front of him, he was stunned and took 3 steps back. She subconsciously took 3 steps back. "Your ghost is back." He saw a familiar figure. Lin Xian, Lin Wudi, the boss of the Divine Union. But how was that possible? Wasn't he already dead? How could he appear here? Could it be that the other party's soul had returned? At that thought, cold sweat broke out on his back. The other people were also bewildered. Was it really Boss Lin? Lin Xian looked around and said coldly, "Why? Don't you recognize me?" As he spoke, the 9 Yang Divine Physique released a terrifying divine fire. These people were shocked when they sensed the power of this body. The 9 Yang Divine Physique was the most masculine and young physique. That was Lin Xian's physique. The person in front of them was really their boss, Lin Wudi. Chapter 5203. Bingyu turned pale from fright and started crying. On the other side, 7-star also knelt on the ground in fright. How is this possible? Lin Fan didn't die. He was extremely afraid now. The two of them had originally planned to seize the Divine Union's resources and establish their own factions. They even wanted to rely on the Dragon Palace. The reason why they dared to do so was because Lin Xin was dead. However, Lin Fan had returned. Impossible. Didn't you get killed by an extreme-grade weapon? How can you return alive? No one can resist an extreme-grade weapon. 7-star roared crazily. Nalan Liang was instantly unhappy. 7-star, what is the meaning of this? Are you cursing Boss Lin? Don't you want Boss Lin to return? How would I dare? I'm too shocked. 7-star quickly shook his head. Who would dare to contend with Lin Xian? He didn't dare. Lin Fan could kill him with one slap. Bing Yu also said in fright. Boss Lin, do the others know that you returned alive? Lin Xian looked at the two and smiled. Don't worry, the entire buried Emperor's star will soon know. I will let my enemies know how to offend me. As long as they are my enemies, I will let them know regret and despair. Bing Yu and 7-star's pupils constricted again. Go against Lin Xian? The Dragon Prince was dead. Could the two of them still be alive? Boss Lin, how did you dodge an extreme-grade weapons attack? Someone exclaimed. Yes, they were really too excited. Bai Susu and the others were curious as well. Lin Xian chuckled. So what if it's an extreme-grade weapon? It won't be able to kill me. It was an accident that I was attacked by an extreme-grade weapon this time. It was the blazing dragon monarch of the Thousand Dragons Court who informed us of our location. We also found out. Bai Susu gritted her teeth. The blazing dragon monarch had teleported back and was now being used by the Thousand Dragons Court. It was said that he had gone to the outer realm to gather resources. Damn it, he was too strong. We were not his match. Yuran and the others were also unwilling and clenched their fists. However, they raised their heads and said, now that Boss Lin is back, we can take revenge. However, Lin Xian smiled. There was no need. The Scarlet Flame Dragon Monarch was already dead. Dead? Everyone was shocked. Who did it? It was too satisfying. Bai Susu was shocked. Could it be that you were the one who did it? Lin Xian nodded. Indeed, it was the Scarlet Flame Dragon Lord. I killed all the dragon experts who were with him. None of them managed to leave alive. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. The Scarlet Flame Dragon Overlord was a formidable expert among the saints. He was in the late stage of the Great Saint Realm and had terrifying strength. Beside him were a group of elders and experts from the Dragon Clan. These people were all killed by Lin Xian. Could it be that Lin Xian had used an extreme-grade weapon? In their opinion, only the heaven-devouring jar would be able to defeat those people. These people were shocked. Nalan Liang instantly ran over and said, Boss Lin, please save my family. Their Nalan family was on the side of the Divine Union and had been suppressed badly. It was said that many elders had fallen. Lin Xian patted him on the shoulder. Good brother, I have let your family suffer. Don't worry, I have already saved your Nalan family. Is your family all right? She was overjoyed. A huge stone was lifted from her heart. Thank you, Boss Lin. Lin Xian said, You are welcome. This matter started because of me, so I naturally had to help. Not only the Nalan family, but the Dugu family and the Fire Dragon clan were also saved by me. That was great. Bai Susu and the others were overjoyed. They could finally turn the tables. 10,000 Dragons Court, Dragon Palace, just wait. Oh right, how is the Divine Union? Lin Xian asked. The moment he said that, Bai Susu looked at Bing Yu and 7-star, her eyes flashing coldly. The others also made way. In an instant, an empty space was formed in front of them, leaving only the two of them. Boss Lin, I was wrong. Please spare my life. Bing Yu immediately knelt down and begged for mercy. She knew that she couldn't hide what she had done from Bai Susu. Lin Xian would find out sooner or later. 7-star looked up abruptly and gritted his teeth. Boss Lin, although I was wrong, no one knew that I was alive. However, nobody knew that you were still alive. Everything I did was for the sake of the Divine Union. Shut up, Bai Susu snorted. For the Divine Union? You have the cheek to say that? Do you think I don't know what you did? You secretly stole the Divine Union's resources and formed your own force. Then, you will establish your own force. You really have a good plan. Lin Xian, I have long disliked these two people. However, the Divine Union was in a precarious situation and was attacked from the front and back, so I couldn't do anything. Lin Xian said coldly as he looked at the two of them. Were these two the only ones taking action? Did they have any companions? Yes. Yuren also clenched his teeth and pointed out a few people. There were more than a dozen companions of these people. Those people knelt on the ground. They begged for mercy. Lin Xian said, when I established the Divine Union, I set the sect rules. I'm sure you all know the consequences of betrayers. Those people were terrified. A traitor would naturally die. Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back and turned around, his back facing the crowd. He said coldly, since we are from the same sect, I will give you some dignity. Do it yourself. The front fell silent for a moment. Everyone looked at this scene with deep emotions and iciness. These traitors deserved this outcome. However, those people were still begging for mercy. Bingyu looked up and said, Boss Lin, I was wrong. I'll do it myself. After saying that, her soul split open and her body and soul were destroyed. Apart from that, the people following Bingyu also took action and committed suicide. 7 Stars stood up and roared crazily. Why should I do it myself? Who do you think you are? How dare you dictate my fate? Go. He waved his hand, and the people beside him also stood up. Emboldened, they followed him. This 7 Star was also considered a top genius. His strength was very powerful. His cultivation had already reached the mid-stage of the Great Sage. With such an expert in addition to them, even if they couldn't defeat Lin Xian, it shouldn't be a problem for them to leave safely. These people soared into the sky. 7 Star's eyes flickered with cold light. Lin Wudi, just you wait. Although he was defeated this time, he would seek refuge with the Dragon Palace and kill his way over. He wanted revenge. Boss Lin, don't let him escape. The people of the Divine Union were very anxious. Lin Xian turned around and looked at the void. He shook his head and sighed. Stupid. If you were the same as Bingyu, I wouldn't pursue this matter. However, you actually acted so recklessly. Don't blame me. He reached out a large hand and grabbed at the sky. It instantly covered heaven and earth. Damn it. 7 Star roared and his brothers attacked together. He snorted and unsheathed the long saber on his back. It was the 7 Star saber. The saber slashed down with a terrifying starlight that tore heaven and earth apart. The surrounding 10 figures also attacked at the same time. They resisted the flaming palm. Boom. The 9 Suns' divine palm shattered everything, and the 7 Star saber instantly melted. The other superpowers also turned to ashes. Lin Xian's palm enveloped the dozen or so people. Chapter 5204. Damn it. How could this be? 7 Star and the others roared. They couldn't even block a single palm? I don't believe it. They still wanted to resist. The 9 Sun divine palm closed and their bones shattered. They screamed. A moment later, they were suppressed by the palm. However, they didn't die. Damn it. Let us go. There are rules in the Tao. You can't attack us. These people roared. Bai Susu and the others frowned. There were indeed rules in the Tao. However, Lin Xian said coldly, I have rules too. The rules of the Divine Union. No one can break them. If you had acted obediently like Bingyu, I would have given you a quick death. However, you've been reincarnated for 10,000 years now. He activated his heaven's secret mystic ability, and these people entered the reincarnation realm. They would suffer 10,000 years of pain and die in despair. In the end, these dozen or so people fell. The surrounding people looked at this scene with terrified expressions. Soon, someone stood up and said, they deserved it. They betrayed the Divine Union and deserved this. Yes, that's right. Don't worry, Big Boss Lin. We won't tell anyone about this. The others quickly swore. Lin Xian said, don't worry. These people are just the beginning. Next, I'll let more people suffer my wrath. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with killing intent. Bai Susu's heart was pounding. Are you thinking about it? That's right. The Dragon Palace would definitely die if they dared to attack the Divine Union. I won't let them off this time. Let's go. He turned and walked outside. Bai Susu was stunned. No way. You want to attack here? This is the Tao. There are rules in the Tao. The others were also stunned. Lin Xian said indifferently without turning back. Don't worry, the Tao won't attack me. From the moment the Dragon Prince died, I was the Tao's hope. After saying that, he sped up. Bai Susu's eyes lit up. The others clenched their fists. Let's go and follow Big Boss Lin. Lin Xian was right. Previously, there were two young supremes in the Tao, both of whom had hopes of becoming great emperors. Therefore, the old ancestors of the Tao supported different people. However, the situation was different now. The Dragon Prince was dead, and only Lin Xian was left. If Lin Xian died, the Tao sect would suffer a great loss. After all, they had already offended the 10,000 Dragons dynasty because of Lin Xian. The 10,000 Dragon dynasty would not let Daozhong off. Therefore, the Tao sect had no choice but to fully support Lin Xian. In that case, Lin Xian would not show mercy to Dragon Palace. Dragon Palace. After the death of the Dragon Prince, the reputation of the Dragon Palace was much weaker than before, but it soon stabilized. Even without the Dragon Prince, the Dragon Palace had gathered countless masters of the Dragon Clan, and a group of geniuses in the Tao. When these people gathered together, they were still the most powerful force in the Tao. Especially after the news of Lin Wudi's death had spread, the Divine Union had completely declined. The Dragon Palace was now constantly suppressing the Divine Union. Once they destroyed the Divine Union and seized their resources and geniuses, the Dragon Palace would be able to reach the top again. The person in charge of the Dragon Palace now was the Tyrant Dragon Clan. This person was called Ling Tian. At this moment, a group of people was gathered in a hall of the Dragon Palace. Ling Tian sat on the most important throne, and the people around him were all flattering him. I think the Divine Union will not last for more than 2 days. With Brother Ling Tian around, how could the Divine Union be a match for them? Just wait, they will definitely die in 3 days. Then, the Dragon Palace will become stronger again. Brother Ling Tian will become the #1 genius in the Tao. Humph, that Lin Wudi was nothing. Didn't he die in the hands of the Dragon Clan? Laughter could be heard. Ling Tian said, You can't say that. I am only the second genius in the Tao. The first genius is the Dragon Prince. Although he died first, he is still the first genius. Yes, the first genius is the Dragon Prince. The people around him nodded in agreement. Ling Tian's eyes lit up when he saw this. He said, After this gathering, everyone will rest for a day before attacking the Divine Union. What about the Tao? The geniuses around him were worried. Ling Tian smiled. Don't worry, Lin Wudi is dead. The Divine Union has no backing. We still have the 1,000 Dragon Court behind us. How will the Tao choose? I think the old ancestors should understand. Yes, that's right. The geniuses around him laughed. Outside the Dragon Palace, the guards were also calm. They were not seriously defending. After all, no one dared to attack them at this moment. A group of people walked out from the front. This group of people was majestic and filled with killing intent. Who was it? The guards frowned. They looked over carefully and sneered when they realized that it was Bai Susu and the others. The Divine Union. Why? Couldn't they wait to die? Men, kill them all in one battle. The guards unsheathed their swords and were ready to send a message. However, a few sword lights slashed down from the void and killed them. Lin Xian followed the Divine Union like a demon. With his powerful attacks, these guards had no power to resist at all. Let's go. After killing the guards, Bai Susu and the others tore apart the formation and charged right into the area. The Divine Union had also gathered a group of top experts and could be considered a top force. When these young geniuses attacked, their power was naturally terrifying. After entering, Bai Susu and the others attacked frantically. Now that they understood the situation, they would destroy the Dragon Palace completely and make it cease to exist. The people in the Dragon Palace were stunned. Who dared to attack them? Damn it! It's the Divine Union. Fight back! Informed Big Brother Ling Tian. Those people were shouting crazily. A figure retreated quickly and entered the hall. Young Master Ling Tian, this is bad. The door of the hall was knocked open in an instant. The top geniuses who were gathered inside stopped and looked over. Ling Tian's face darkened. Didn't I say that no one was to disturb me no matter what happened? The guards of the Dragon Palace were terrified. Young Master Ling Tian was in trouble. Someone had charged in. What? Who was it? The people beside him frowned as well. The guards said that it was the Divine Union. Damn it! Ling Tian slammed the table and stood up. How dare they attack the Divine Union? Who was the leader? Was it Bai Susu? He dared to behave atrociously here just because his father was an elder. Today, he would be killed as well. The entire hall was filled with murderous intent. At this moment, a voice was heard. The leader was me. I'm standing right here. Try and kill me. Who was it? When they heard this voice, the geniuses in the hall were stunned. They quickly turned around. Ling Tian turned around abruptly and rolled out. His roar was earth-shattering. In the next moment, they saw the void crack open and a figure walk out. Who are you? How dare you behave atrociously here? A genius from the Dragon Palace pointed forward and shouted angrily. As soon as she finished shouting, she was stunned. The others also widened their eyes in disbelief. Chapter 5205. What did they see? A person who was supposed to be dead had appeared in front of them. How was that possible? Weren't you already dead? A genius from the Dragon Palace roared crazily. With a poochie sound, he was split apart by the sword. Lin Xian waved his arm and said coldly, "You're the one who died? Damn it! How dare you attack me?" Ling Tian shouted angrily. "Who do you think you are?" Lin Xian looked at him with disdain. "How dare you? This is the leader of the Dragon Palace, young Master Ling Tian." Another two people stood out and shouted coldly. However, Lin Xian slapped them, and their bodies spun in the air and turned into blood mist. "Ants, who gave you the right to talk?" The others were terrified. He was too powerful. Those who could gather in this hall were the top geniuses of the Dragon Palace. They were the top geniuses in the entire Dao. Every single one of them would be able to sweep through everything when they went out. Even ordinary older generation figures were no match for them. But now, two of them were killed by a slap from the other party. Of course, they also knew that Lin Xian was someone who could compete with the Emperor's son. His strength was far beyond their imagination. Ling Tian gritted his teeth. "Lin Wudi, you're not dead." He was really shocked. Even an extreme weapon couldn't kill him? Impossible. He shook his head frantically. It must be because Lin Wudi wasn't at the Sun Palace. Otherwise, how could he not die? Lin Xian looked at him and said coldly, "You're in charge of the Dragon Palace now?" "That's right." Ling Tian sneered. "Get lost now. We can live in peace." Trash. The Dragon Prince is dead, and the Dragon Palace has declined. How dare you talk to me like that? Lin Xian slapped him. "How dare you?" Ling Tian roared. He could become the leader because he had his strength. This proved that his talent and strength were top-notch. Therefore, facing Lin Xian's slap, he fought back crazily. As a Tyrannosaurus, his physique and strength were very strong. In an instant, he slapped out and let out waves of dragon roars. There were even powerful lightning bolts on it that could pierce through everything. However, as soon as Lin Xian's palms collided, everything turned to ashes. What a terrifying Tyrannosaurus Rex! In the blink of an eye, it was torn into pieces. Ling Tian was also sent flying while vomiting blood, with half of his arm broken. Roar! You dare to hurt me? Ling Tian was sent flying. However, at that moment, a foot stomped him into the ground. The earth was torn apart. The palace collapsed as well. You're really weak. You can't even withstand a single blow. You're not even comparable to that long AO from before. Damn it. Let go of me. I'm a Tyrannosaurus Rex. If you dare to touch me, my family will not let you off. Boom. Lin Xian exerted force with his foot and crushed the opponent into pieces. Then, he pointed out with his finger and sword chi pierced through the other party's soul, nailing him to the ground. Lin Xian withdrew his palm and said coldly, "Even the Dragon Prince is not my match. How dare you threaten me?" Dead. The surrounding geniuses of Dragon Palace were terrified. Heavens, that was the leader of Dragon Palace, the top genius. However, He was so weak in the hands of the other party. The rest of them kept retreating. However, the people of Dragon Clan roared and attacked together to kill him. These people attacked crazily, but Lin Xian chopped them all into pieces with a single sword. The sword chi that filled the sky made these people unable to resist. After killing more than 30 geniuses of Dragon Clan with a single sword, Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back. There were more than 20 young people left. They were also top geniuses, but they were not from Dragon Palace. They knelt on the ground in fear. "Spare us, Lin Gongzi, spare our lives. Your fate has been decided from the moment you cooperated with Dragon Palace. When you choose in your next life, don't choose the wrong path again." Lin Xian's eyes shone with a piercing cold light. The 9 suns' divine fire flew out of the peanut, and the illusion of the sun shrouded everything. These people screamed miserably as their souls were destroyed. The battle outside was still raging and was abnormally intense. However, Lin Xian walked out of the hall. He said loudly, "Ling Tian is dead." He waved his sleeves and the heads flew out. When the powerhouses of Dragon Palace who were still fighting saw this, their faces turned ugly. How could it be? Young Master Ling Tian and the other top experts are all dead? Damn it! How dare you attack? A burly man roared crazily. "This is the Dao sect. How dare you attack the geniuses of Path sect?" As he spoke, he crushed the token in his hand. "You're dead." Lin Xian sneered. "Then what are you doing? Are you not violating the sect rules by attacking the Divine Union? Who dares to attack?" At this moment, a cold voice was heard from the sky. Then, an old man descended from the sky. The remaining people of Dragon Palace rushed over and bowed. "Elder, save us. They dared to kill the people of Dragon Palace. Young Master Ling Tian is dead." These people started crying. It was an elder of Dragon Palace. He was called Elder Jing Yun and supported Dragon Palace. When he heard this, his eyes narrowed. "Ling Tian is dead? What's going on? Who did it?" Soon, he stared at Bai Susu and the others below. "Divine Union, how dare you break the rules? Kneel down obediently. Who do you think you are?" Bai Susu was stunned. "Why didn't you stand up when Dragon Palace attacked us previously? They broke the sect rules first. We were just retaliating." Elder Jing Yun shouted angrily. Bai Susu said, "Don't go overboard. Even though your father is an elder, so what? Breaking the sect rules, even an elder has to die. Kneel down obediently. Otherwise, don't blame me for suppressing you." How arrogant. You can't differentiate between right and wrong. You don't deserve to be an elder. As Zhang Xian said those words, a golden palm descended from the sky. Elder Jing Yun was furious. Who dared to attack? He threw out a punch. Soon, he screamed and retreated. His palm was shattered. Who was it? He shouted angrily. However, the golden palm was too terrifying. It slapped him to the ground in an instant. He didn't even know who the enemy was, and he was knocked down. "Damn Bai Susu. How dare you attack an elder? You're dead meat." "Men." He called for help again. In the distance, another 3 elders joined forces and came over. "How dare you? Divine Union, capture him quickly. Do you want to die?" 3 angry roars were heard. Lin Xian snorted and attacked again. The huge palm swept across the sky and hit the 3 elders. The 3rd elder roared, "You're courting death." After releasing Elder Jing Yun, one of them formed a seal with his palm and turned it into a black dragon that descended from the sky. It swept across the sky. On the other side, the lady formed a seal and rain fell from the sky. It turned into a peerless killing aura that pierced through the 9 heavens. The last person even charged over, wanting to save Elder Jingyun. The attack of the 3 experts was extremely powerful. The people of Dragon Palace below were delighted. "Let's see how you're going to die." The people of Divine Union sneered. They weren't the ones attacking this time. It was Boss Lin. Boss Lin could even dodge an extreme weapon, let alone the attacks of these elders. Let's see who's going to die. Chapter 5206. Facing the overwhelming attacks, Lin Xian was still fearless. The flames on his body blossomed with a terrifying radiance as his fists swept in all directions. Each of his punches carried an extremely strong force. The laws of the divine abilities that were close to him were all shattered. Not a single one was able to reach him. Not only that, but this energy also rushed forward and attacked the three great saints. Boom, boom. The three saints felt as though they were struck by lightning. Their chi and blood were in turmoil as they vomited large mouthfuls of blood. How is this possible? This force was too terrifying. Just one person was enough to make the three of them feel as though they were facing a great enemy. Damn it! The three of them took out their saint artifacts and frantically counterattacked. Lin Xian formed a seal with his palm and slammed down with the devil god seal. On the other side, it was the sixth Dao fist. At the same time, an extremely terrifying reincarnation mountain burst out from his eyes. The three absolute arts attacked. These were all top-notch absolute arts. How could the three saints block them? In an instant, they were severely injured. Two of their bodies were shattered. One of them was torn into pieces and was then suppressed by Lin Xian with the six suns. The surrounding people were all stunned when they saw this scene, especially those from the Dragon Palace. They widened their eyes in disbelief. These were three great saints, and they were able to sweep through everything. However, they were easily defeated by Lin Xian. Had this guy's strength surpassed the saints? Damn it! You dare? Do it! Do you want to die? One of the middle-aged men roared crazily. As a result, Lin Xian stomped his face into mush. You still dare to be arrogant? Do you think I don't dare to kill you? Lin Xian's eyes burst out with extremely terrifying killing intent. He destroyed the other party's heart and soul. The power of the great dragon sword soul tore apart the other party's soul. The other party couldn't be revived. Dead. The eyes of the Dragon Palace's people nearly popped out. The others were so frightened that they knelt down. This was a Saint Monarch Realm Elder, and he was killed just like that. You dare? The other three elders were so frightened that their scalps went numb. They screamed crazily, Ancestor, save us. The battle here naturally alarmed the entire Dao Center. Countless figures soared into the sky from the surroundings. Who dared to cause trouble here? Quite a few elders had arrived, and even some patriarchs from the core region of the Dao had rushed over. It's me. Lin Xian coldly snorted in response to the angry shouts around him. The light on his body shot straight into the sky. You are? The surrounding elders wanted to continue hollering. However, when they saw Lin Xian, they were stunned. The next moment, someone exclaimed, Lin Wudi, you're still alive. It can't be, right? I'm not dreaming, am I? They were all crazy. At this moment, an old man appeared in the void. It was Fantasy World Ancestor. The others bowed respectfully. Fantasy World Ancestor looked down and frowned. Someone dared to behave atrociously in the Dao? When he saw that it was Lin Xian, he was also stunned, his eyelids twitching wildly. You're not dead. He was truly shocked. Ha 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 ha. Another figure appeared in the distance. It was old Ancestor Barbarian God. After he arrived, he threw his head back and laughed heartily. Lin Xian, you really are still alive. I didn't misjudge you. Even an extreme Dao weapon couldn't kill you. In the future, you will definitely become a great emperor. They were really happy. Old Ancestor, save us. The three elders were suppressed, and they cried out miserably. The people from Dragon Palace also knelt on the ground. Old Ancestor, please uphold justice for us. Lin Wudi, why did you attack? Don't you know that killing one another is not allowed in the Dao? An elder stood out and shouted coldly. These people were all supporters of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Lin Xian looked at him and sneered. You also know that killing one another is not allowed in the Dao. Then, where were you when Dragon Palace was fighting the Divine Union? Why didn't you uphold justice? I didn't see it. That elder gritted his teeth. Didn't see it? Lin Xian's eyes were filled with terrifying killing intent. His reincarnation power shone brightly. He directly charged forward. The Grand Elder screamed. His eyes were bleeding, and he was in a miserable state. My eyes. Damn it. How dare you destroy my eyes? The elder roared crazily. He couldn't see anything. Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back and said coldly, You didn't see it either. Scram. If you meddle in this matter, I'll destroy your soul. The surrounding people were extremely shocked. Even the elders felt their scalps go numb. What kind of method was this? He could beat an elder with a raise of his hand. The savage wilderness ancestor was shocked. Lin Xian, did you break through? He looked carefully and realized that Lin Xian's cultivation was still at the early stage of the great sage realm. He didn't break through, but he actually had the combat power of a great sage. He was indeed a top genius. However, the elders who supported Dragon Palace looked extremely gloomy. They naturally didn't dare to say anything to Lin Xian. Instead, they all looked at the fantasy world ancestor. Asking the ancestor to take action? This kid was too arrogant. He didn't care about the rules of the Tao at all. Lin Xian, do you know your crime? The fantasy world ancestor said coldly. However, before he could finish, Lin Xian said loudly, the dragon prince is dead, but I'm still alive. Hearing this, the ancestor was speechless. The surrounding elders' eyes flickered. That's right. The dragon prince was a top genius, but he was already dead. A dead genius was nothing. Lin Xian was still alive. Lin Xian's talent was probably even more terrifying than the dragon prince's. He had a higher chance of becoming a great emperor in the future. Were they going to punish such a person now? Were they going to lose another young supreme being? At that moment, Bai Susu's father, Elder Bai, walked out and said, Extreme Fantasy World Ancestor, when you were in seclusion, the Dragon Palace had been secretly attacking the sacred spirits and even killed many geniuses. However, some elders secretly protected them and deceived the ancestor. Now that Lin Xian has returned and led the Divine Union to attack the Dragon Palace, it's understandable. We hope the ancestor will show mercy. That's right. We hope the ancestor will show mercy. The surrounding elders all spoke up. The barbarian god ancestor also looked at the fantasy world ancestor and said, Old friend, you were wrong once. Are you going to make the wrong choice again? In our Tao, the path of the future lies in a single thought of yours. The savage wilderness ancestor was on Lin Xian's side. Previously, the fantasy world ancestor had supported the dragon prince. Now that the dragon prince was dead, there was a chance. Would the other party support Lin Xian or the Thousand Dragon Court? Everyone was waiting for the fantasy world ancestor. The fantasy world ancestor's eyes flickered and then he sighed. The dragon palace was in the wrong. Therefore, he wouldn't pursue the matter this time. Then, he looked at Lin Xian and said, You just came back and have a good rest. The Tao sect will do its best to nurture you. With that, he turned and disappeared. The people of the Tao exclaimed. The people of the Dragon Palace were in despair. The elders who supported the Dragon Palace also felt their scalps go numb. This meant that the fantasy world ancestor had given up on the Thousand Dragon Court and was supporting Lin Xian. It wasn't just the fantasy world ancestor. The other patriarchs would probably support Lin Xian as well. When the time came, the entire Tao would cultivate Lin Xian. The experts and geniuses of the Thousand Dragon Court would be finished. Chapter 5207. Thank you, old ancestor. Lin Xian cupped his fists and smiled at the void. Old ancestor barbarian god smiled and nodded. Little guy, we won't interfere in this matter. You have to seize the opportunity. With that, he walked away. Lin Xian was stunned. Then, he smiled. The people around him didn't understand what he meant. Lin Xian said, This matter wasn't over yet. The battle wasn't over. Everyone only had one chance. Bai Susu and the rest smiled and looked at the people from the Thousand Dragon Court. Attack. These people attacked quickly. No. The people from the Dragon Palace screamed. Old Zhang, save us. However, the elders who supported the Dragon Palace felt their scalps go numb. Some of them lowered their heads and admitted defeat. Some of them were originally from the Dragon Tribe and were killed by the other elders. In the end, the people from the Dragon Palace were all killed. From then on, there was no Dragon Palace in the Tao sect. The other genius disciples gasped at the sight of this. They looked at Lin Xian in awe. From now on, Lin Xian and the Divine Union were existences that they couldn't afford to offend. The Dragon Palace had many treasures. Take them back and don't waste them, Lin Xian said. Bai Susu and the rest moved quickly. They were very happy. Now, the Tao sect was completely on Lin Xian's side. In fact, They had no choice. Lin Xian and the Thousand Dragon Court were mortal enemies. They could only choose one. Since they chose Lin Xian, they would be enemies with the Thousand Dragon Court. The Thousand Dragon Court wouldn't let the Dao sect go. Therefore, the Dao sect wouldn't hold back either. This matter spread across the entire Dao sect. Not only that, but it also swept towards the Holy Abyss ancient city. In an instant, everyone in the ancient city knew that the Dragon Palace had been destroyed. Who did it? Who dared to attack the Dragon Palace at this time? Was there no one in the Dao sect who would care? Countless exclamations were heard. They all went to investigate. However, an even bigger piece of news came. Lin Wuti was back. When everyone heard the news, they were all stunned. They couldn't react for a moment. Then, they sucked in a breath of cold air. Lin Wuti was back? How was this possible? Wasn't he already dead? That's right. He had already died a few years ago, killed by an extreme weapon. How could he possibly come back? This news not only spread throughout the entire wholly distant ancient city, it also spread towards the distant light continent and even the entire buried Emperor Star. Everyone went crazy. Lin Wuti was not dead. He had returned. What kind of joke was this? He would have been killed by an extreme weapon long ago. This was impossible. The remote antiquity families, the mining world sects, and even the monarch races went crazy. Hurry up and investigate. These people are roaring crazily. If Lin Wuti was still alive, it would be an earth-shattering event. The Demon Emperor Mountain also received the news in an instant, and the monkey laughed heartily at the sky. Did you hear that? Brother Lin didn't die. The Black Dragon God Dragon also rushed out in an instant. Damn, I knew this kid wouldn't die. Great. Yin Ruyu smiled. Morong Qingcheng was even more excited. Brother Xian was fine. I have to hurry. He can't wait any longer. Let's go together. These people set off towards the middle of the road, and the experts from the other great clans all gathered at the saintly origin city. They wanted to investigate whether or not Lin Xian was dead. On the other side, the Blue Race, Long Hai, Golden Crow Race, Zifu, and the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were all stunned when they heard the news. Lin Wuti wasn't dead? Impossible. They shook their heads crazily and then asked one after another. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty laughed coldly. Scoff, this must be a scheme. I think Morong Qingqing, Emperor Qing's successor, and the others worked together to release the news. Then, they set up an extreme weapon trap in Saintly Origin City. When we enter, they will go all out and use their extreme weapons to kill us. We can see through such a trap right away. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty didn't believe it. Long Hai, Golden Crow, and the others laughed. Right, this was a trap. Scoff, you want to kill us? Wait for another 10,000 years. These people didn't believe it. The others couldn't sit still anymore and all came forward. Morong Qingqing and the others rushed over. In the middle of the road, Yi Wudao came too. They looked at the familiar figure in front of them and laughed emotionally. You really didn't die. Lin Xian smiled. I made you all worry. The group of people gathered together and were very happy. The Crimson Dragon said, Kid, tell me what happened. Lin Xian recounted what had happened to these people in detail. Everyone was shocked when they heard this. You actually ate the Great Emperor's pill? Damn, kid. What happened to your body? It's the Purple Sun Divine Fire. Yi Wudao was shocked. Monkey and the others were shocked too. Morong Qingqing smiled and said, It's good that you're fine. She was most worried about Lin Xian's safety. Kid, here's the heaven-swallowing jar. The Crimson Dragon returned the heaven-swallowing jar to Lin Xian. The Black Sea Dragon race has already gone to Monster Emperor Mountain. There are extreme weapons there. There are a lot of people investigating right now. Should we hide for the time being? Yin Ruyu asked. After all, once the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty knew that Lin Xian was still alive, they would probably go crazy and attack him. Lin Xian also took a deep breath. Inform our allies and the Dao sect to prepare with all their might. Also, bring the extreme weapons and prepare to fully activate them at any time. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. He knew from Morong Qingqing that the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had two allies now, the Gu family and the Z Mansion. At the same time, they provided two extreme weapons, so he couldn't be careless. As for the Z Mansion, Lin Xian knew that they had a grudge against him and would definitely attack. But the Gu family surprised him. Lin Xian had a good relationship with the Gu family, but he didn't expect them to stand on the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty side in the end. Since they were enemies, Lin Xian wouldn't hold back. Yan Ruyu, Murong Qingqing, and the others hurriedly informed the factions behind them to prepare. Bai Susu hurriedly informed her father so that Dao Zhong could make the necessary preparations. Lin Xian stood up. Before the news is confirmed, I have to attack again. Blue Race, Long Hai, Golden Crow, I won't let them off. Let's attack as well. The Crimson Dragon and the Toad also walked out. On the other side, the monkey also stood out. Even Leaf Dao Dinier said that he could participate in this battle. They wouldn't participate in the battle for the extreme weapons, but Leaf Dao Dinier wasn't afraid of the other ancient families. There's also us. Soul Sage Monarch also came. As a top assassin, this was the best time for him to attack. Not only that, but he also brought all of his subordinates. This was a group of extremely terrifying killing sages. Once this power was released, it would definitely cause heaven and earth to tremble. Good. Lin Xian's eyes shone brightly. Then, he summoned Little White and said, "Follow Ruzalong and the others." There weren't many people attacking, but they were all top experts. Once they attacked, they would kill in one strike. The operation only had half a month's time. Lin Xian and the others instantly disappeared. At the same time, a storm swept through the buried Emperor Star. Chapter 5208. Everyone came to Holy Abyss Ancient City to investigate Lin Wudi's situation. Lin Xian and the others had already begun to move. Holy Abyss Ancient City, White Crane Tower. This place was very famous, and countless people gathered here to gather information. A few figures sat at a wine table by the window. One of the geniuses from the Blue Clan sneered. Lin Wudi is still alive? Stop dreaming. He will never appear again in this life. This is a trap. They are still far from being able to plot against us. Hearing this, the others were also surprised. Was it true? Perhaps this was really a trap set up by Murong Qingqing and the others, because until now, they had not found out if Lin Xian was still alive. Suddenly, a sword light flashed in the sky, and the genius from the Blue Clan who had spoken was instantly cut in half. His body and soul were destroyed. Who was it? The others exclaimed in shock. This young man from the Blue Clan was a very top genius. But now, he was killed by a sword. Who was the enemy? They had no idea. Dragon Sea. It was a very terrifying sea area. If one wanted to pass through it quickly, they had to take a dragon boat. The dragon boat was controlled by the Dragon Sea clan. At this moment, on a dragon boat, it carried countless powerhouses and geniuses. Those who could board the dragon boat were not ordinary people. At this moment, countless people were alarmed because the owner of the dragon boat had arrived. He was an elder of the Dragon Sea clan. His strength had reached the level of a sacred master. After he arrived, the surrounding people bowed and greeted him. The owner of the Saint ship said with a smile, "We should be able to arrive in 5 days. Everyone, just wait patiently." The surrounding people said that it was only natural. Who would dare to attack the dragon boat in the Dragon Sea? 5 days, we are not in a hurry. That was because the Dragon Clan was like a god in the Dragon Sea. Who would dare to attack them? The surrounding people laughed out loud. At this moment, the void shattered and flames descended, enveloping the Saint Elder. In the next moment, a miserable cry was heard. Everyone was shocked. They discovered that the owner of the Saint ship had been destroyed. He was dead. The surrounding people were so frightened that they knelt on the ground, their faces pale. Who was it? They were too shocked. Previously, they were still saying that the Dragon Sea clan was a godlike existence in this place. But in the blink of an eye, an elder of the Dragon Sea clan was killed. It was a slap to everyone's face. Buried Emperor Star. Outer Realm. Now, another sun had appeared in the dark universe. The previous sun had been destroyed. Thus, the clans and sects of the buried Emperor Star joined hands to search for another sun. He even brought it over. The buried Emperor Star couldn't be without a sun. When the new sun appeared, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. At this moment, An expert from the Golden Crow race snorted coldly. If it weren't for our Golden Crow race, there wouldn't be a second sun on the buried Emperor's star. That's right. Our Golden Crow clan has put in so much effort. Aren't you going to express it? The surrounding people expressed their thanks to the Golden Crow clan for that matter. Many people even began to send congratulatory gifts. However, at this moment, the void cracked open, and an extremely terrifying attack descended, directly enveloping the people of the Golden Crow tribe. Who was it? The powerhouses of the Golden Crow tribe roared angrily and counterattacked. However, this attack was really too strong. In an instant, they were beaten into a bloody mist. Even his soul had been destroyed. The others were terrified, as if they were facing a great enemy. However, after waiting for half a day, they discovered that the enemy had already disappeared. Dead. The powerhouses of the Golden Crow race had all fallen. One hit, one kill. Who was it that had attacked? They were terrified. The successor of the Purple Mansion sect in Taiching Ancient City. He held a martial arts conference. Countless young geniuses gathered. The successor of the Purple Mansion sect fanned himself like an immortal, causing countless people to look up to him. However, at this moment, the void cracked open, and a dagger chopped off his head. The corpse fell. Countless people were terrified. This news spread in all directions in an instant. When the others heard this, they were also shocked. Heavens, someone actually dared to attack these sects and families. They realized the powerhouses that had fallen outside were all allies of the 10,000 Dragon Court. Could it be that someone wanted to attack the 10,000 Dragon Court? Who was it? Was it the Divine Union? Could it be that Lin Wudi was still alive? Or could it be that this was a trap all along? Countless crazy discussions spread. The 10,000 Dragon Court was also furious when they heard this. As for their allies, the Purple Mansion sect, the Golden Crow race, the Blue race, and the other sects and families suffered heavy losses. Their geniuses outside had fallen one after another, causing their hearts to bleed. Come back quickly. They did not dare to be careless and hurriedly called back those outside. In an instant, they were facing a great enemy. When the allies of the Divine Union heard this news, they raised their arms and cheered. Great! They deserved it. Kill them all and leave nothing behind. These people roared. They had also received the news of the Divine Dragon and secretly gathered their forces. In the Tao, the Divine Union, Lin Xian, Monkey, and the others had all returned. Then, they all laughed heartily. In the past half a month, they had quickly attacked and killed many geniuses. It was enough to make their hearts ache. Next was the most important moment. Lin Xian knew that there would be an earth-shattering storm. However, he was not afraid. Murong Qingqing, Yin Ruyu, and the others had also returned. They had already gathered a lot of resources. The True Path sect had also finished their preparations. Even the other allies had also sent news. Lin Xian knew that it was time to start. Thus, he took the initiative to walk out of the Tao. Countless powerhouses had gathered in the sacred origin ancient city. They were all investigating. However, the Tao had an ancient heritage, so no one dared to act rashly. Just as they were thinking of a solution, someone suddenly exclaimed, "Look, someone from the True Path sect has come out." They realized that a few people from the True Path sect had walked out. The one at the front was actually Lin Xian. How could this be? It was really him. He was still alive. Could it be? I'm not dreaming, am I? An illusion. This must be an illusion. Exclamations rang out one after another. They were simply unable to believe it. When he heard these exclamations, the corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up. He strolled outside leisurely. He even used his fists and legs in the open space. The light of the Divine Nine Yang body shone brightly. Everyone was stunned. This was the Divine Nine Yang body. Heavens, it was really Lin Wudi. Only he had the Divine Nine Yang body. He was still alive. Quick! Spread the news to the family. The people who had come to investigate were all crazy. Soon, the news was spread back. After the clan of the Ancients, the Peerless sects, and the Monarch clans received the news, they were all dumbfounded. He was really not dead. Now that the array formation was sent back, they saw the light of Lin Xian's Divine Nine Yang body on the array formation. They also gasped. It was really him. He was not dead. How could it be? How did he survive? The Chelan's son roared crazily. Even an extreme weapon could not kill him? How terrifying was that? The Chelan clan said, "Your Highness, don't be anxious. Perhaps Linwoody was not in the Sun Palace at all." Yes, that must be it. He was definitely not in the Sun Palace. Otherwise, how could he still be alive? No one could use their own strength to block an extreme weapon. Chapter 5209. If Lin Xian survived with the heaven-swallowing jar, they could understand. But the heaven-swallowing jar wasn't in Lin Xian's hands at that time. If Lin Xian fully recovered, the Dragon Sword Soul might be able to escape. But they didn't feel the power of the Dragon Sword Soul back then. This meant that Lin Xian didn't use anything at all, but he survived. They had to find a reason. Thinking about it, only Lin Xian wasn't in the Sun Palace could make them feel at ease. This kid is really lucky. Chelan snorted. But why did he come out at this time? Is he challenging the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty? Humph. Does the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty know the news? Hurry up and send it to him. I want the two of them to fight. They want to fight to the death. Kuan Pingzi also received the news. He didn't die? He was also shocked. The Phoenix race was the same. The Tian Peng race, the Twin of Destiny race, and the others also investigated. Their final conclusion was that Lin Xian shouldn't be in the Sun God Palace. The Blue race, Golden Crow race, and Purple Mansion race were even more shocked. Their peerless enemy was actually still alive. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty roared crazily. What was going on? Previously, they were confident that Lin Xian would definitely die. But now, Lin Xian had come to Sacred Source Ancient City alive, and everyone in the world had seen him. Wasn't this a slap to their faces? More importantly, the Dragon Prince hadn't been avenged at all. How did he survive? 2 attacks from an extreme weapon couldn't kill him? Was he immortal? The Dragon race's ancestor roared. The others were facing a great enemy. Someone said that maybe the news was wrong. Linwoody wasn't in the Sun Palace at all. Yes, that must be it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to block it. Damn it. Where's the Red Flame Dragon God? Tell him to get over here. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty's ancestor roared. However, another elder said, "Ancestor Lu, calm down. The Red Flame Dragon God is already dead." Is he dead? Damn it. What should the ancestor do now? Everyone was waiting. A few old ancestors of the Dragon Clan walked out and shouted coldly, "Kill. Kill Linwoody." This time, they wanted to see his corpse. They wanted to see him die with their own eyes. Use extreme weapons and gather our forces. At the same time, inform all dragons to give us their resources. As for the other allies, they were also told to go all out. This time, he wasn't just going to kill Linwoody. He was also going to kill the Divine Union. If he succeeded, the resources of the Divine Union alone would be enough to make up for the losses. The Divine Union was no longer just a small force in the Tao, but an alliance. This included countless remote antiquity families and peerless sections. His strength was astonishing. As such, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty did not dare to be careless. However, they were extremely confident. Once the news was passed down, the Dragon Clan quickly took action. Their allies also began to gather their strength. There was no other way. If Linwoody didn't die, they would die. Therefore, this time, they would not hold back. As for those in the Purple Mansion, when they received the news, their eyes also shone with a cold light. Damn it, he was actually still alive. The leader of the Purple Mansion asked a few old monsters of the Purple Mansion for a discussion. Then, they decided to go all out. Lin Xian was someone from the immortal graveyard. They wouldn't allow him to live. Furthermore, he had the Heavenly Court behind him. They were also their sworn enemies. This time, the Heavenly Court's people will come as well. Then, they could settle their grudges. Wind and clouds gathered in the Holy Origin Ancient City. In an instant, the ancient city was covered by dark clouds. The atmosphere was extremely oppressive. Retreat quickly. Countless people retreated to the edge of the ancient city. They knew that there would be a huge battle. It might even be an extreme battle. They retreated into the distance, but no one left. Boom. On this day, the wind and clouds rumbled. Countless figures came to the 9 heavens. They brought with them powerful strength and bloodline, suppressing heaven and earth. The entire holy origin ancient city shook violently. Everyone in the ancient city felt their blood boil. They were pressed to the ground. Heavens, what a terrifying aura! Countless experts from the dragon clan had arrived. They were from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. In the sky, the 3 ancestors of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty led the way. Behind them were countless experts from the Dragon Clan. They were filled with killing intent. They stood in the clouds and looked down. Linwoody, come out and die. A cold shout rang out, shaking the surroundings. The Tao sect shook violently. Countless Tao sect disciples looked up at the sky, their faces pale. Was it finally here? The elders in the Tao sect also looked extremely solemn. Lin Xian and the others looked at those scenes. Their eyes flashed. They were finally here. Everyone, prepare yourselves. Lin Xian said a few words and then walked outside. He came to the square of Tao sect, looked up, and laughed coldly. Why? Are you all here to die? If you miss the Dragon Prince, I can send you to hell to reunite with him. A calm voice rang out and spread clearly in all directions. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. He was infuriating the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty in the sky hollered in rage. They were asking to die. Numerous dragon auras descended from the sky and tore the space apart. However, the formation in the Tao sect flashed and blocked everything. There was a loud explosion. The Tao sect's elders also stepped forward. Elder White hollered in rage. 10,000 Dragon Dynasty, don't be too much. Are you attacking our Tao sect? So what if you are? Today, if your Tao sect dared to protect Lin Xian, you would all die. A cold voice spread from the sky. One of the ancestors from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty hollered in rage. Just an ant. You dare to be arrogant in front of me? His eyes flashed and turned into laws that charged downwards. Elder White felt like he was struck by lightning. At this time, a fist smashed over, shattering the void, protecting Elder Bai. The savage wilderness ancestor appeared and shouted coldly. Old thing from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty, if you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. On the other side, the fantasy world ancestor also appeared. The stars in his eyes disappeared. 10,000 Dragon Dynasty, stop. The Dragon Prince is already dead. Do you want more people to die? You also came out. This means that your Tao sect is completely on this kid's side. Since that is the case, there is no need for the Tao sect to exist. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty's ancestor hollered. Above their heads, the 10,000 Dragon picture appeared and swept across the sky. Everyone was on guard. The Tao sect also shook violently. The formation was activated and the legendary Saint weapon appeared, but it was still unable to block it. At this moment, Lin Xian waved his hand and the heaven-swallowing jar appeared. It formed a terrifying vortex and blocked the power of the 10,000 Dragon picture. He said coldly, "It's useless. In terms of extreme weapons, our side isn't bad either. Today, I want to see how you are going to kill me." Lin Xian's voice was sonorous. The surrounding people also retreated to the distance to watch. They had already left the Saint Origin City. They watched through the formation. In fact, countless families and sects on the buried Emperor Star were using formations. They were all paying attention to this battle. The outcome of this battle might very well decide the future of the buried Emperor Star. Could Lin Xian survive the wrath of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty? No one knew. In fact, they didn't think highly of Lin Xian. Chapter 52:10. So what if it was an extreme weapon? Let's compare our foundations and see who can use more power. The 1,000 Dragon Court's ancestor waved his hand and countless clans and sects appeared behind him. The Blue Clan, the Dragon Sea Clan, the Thunder Dragon Clan, and the Cloud Dragon Clan covered the sky. Everyone was shocked. This power alone was enough to sweep everything away. Comparing foundations? Lin Xian sneered. I'm not afraid of you. He waved his hand and a ray of sunlight shot into the sky. The Black Sea Dragon Clan appeared. The Nailing Clan, the Dugu Clan, the Fire Dragon Clan, the Longevity Hall, the Pill Cauldron Pavilion, in the Fire God Palace. At the same time, countless clans and sects appeared and confronted them. The auras of the two sides caused endless cracks and abysses to appear in the sky. It was too terrifying. Everyone was terrified. Had Lin Xian grown to such a level? The divine union was terrifying. At this moment, there was a roar in the distance. Endless light gathered. Half of it was holy and the other half was dark. Everyone was terrified. It was the Destiny Twins. They had also come. That's right, the Destiny Twins had come. These experts were standing on the side of the Thousand Dragon Court. They stared below. Kid, you're definitely going to die today. The Twins of Destiny were also Lin Xian's sworn enemies. On the Divine Union side, the Demon Emperor Mountain had also arrived. Countless great demons covered the sky and demonic aura filled the air. There were also some figures among them. They were people with domains. These people stared at the Thousand Dragon Court. Their eyes were fiery red as they gritted their teeth. Thousand Dragon Court, how dare you destroy domains? I'll destroy your astral souls. So it's people from the spirit realm. The experts of the Thousand Dragon Court sneered. Are you all not dead yet? If that's the case, I don't mind sending you to hell. They were not afraid of the spirit realm. This made the people of the spirit realm gnash their teeth. Lin Xian stared at the Destiny Twins. The Destiny Twins sneered. Why? Are you here to give me a statue again? Did you bring the statue of the Destiny Ancestor? If you did, I'll swallow it whole. Ah, damn kid. You dare to challenge us? We'll kill you. The Twin of Destiny clan was also roaring crazily. Both sides were exchanging blows back and forth. No one was at a disadvantage. They were evenly matched. Countless people were shocked. Although they had yet to make a move, the strength and foundation displayed by both sides were truly too powerful. Even if the Twins of Destiny had a reason to take revenge, so did Lin Xian. Wasn't the destruction of Spirit Realm the best reason? Therefore, it was really hard to determine the victor. Cut the crap and die. The experts of the Twin of Destiny clan instantly rushed over. They charged towards Lin Xian. On the side of the Demon Emperor Mountain, it was the 10,000 Dragon Court that was charging towards them. Was he courting death? Attack! The old ancestor of the 10,000-man dynasty roared. Lin Xian also waved his hand, and the battle instantly broke out. How many experts from the various clans had gathered together? They directly charged towards the Nine Heavens. The Dao sect also attacked. They were fighting on their home ground. They activated a powerful array that swept through everything. In an instant, hundreds of figures shattered in the sky and turned into a bloody mist. Some were from the Thousand Dragon Court, while others were from the Divine Union. A great battle erupted. It was extremely terrifying. The experts of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty moved out, and the old ancestors also attacked. They fought with the old ancestors of Desolation and Huan Shi. Lin Xian attacked even more powerfully. He had the Great Obliteration in his left hand and the Hell Sword in his right. Yin Yang Image, Nine Yang Divine Body, and various ultimate techniques emerged one after another. The people of the Twin of Destiny clan were instantly sent flying. At the same time, Lin Xian charged forward as if there was no one there. Sweeping the world. The entire buried Emperor Star was shocked when they saw this scene. Their scalps went numb. Heavens, this was too terrifying. If this continued, the ancient city would probably be destroyed. The divine generals of the Holy Abyss Tower arrived one after another. The Heaven sect and the Earth sect attacked. Everyone, let's fight above the Nine Heavens. They couldn't fight in the Holy Abyss ancient city. Otherwise, this ancient city wouldn't be able to withstand it. Boom. These people charged towards the Nine Heavens, causing the entire sky to shatter. They even charged towards the outer realm. The battle was extremely shocking. At this moment, the old ancestor of the 10,000 Dragon Court roared, and the 10,000 dragons in the sky roared. They emitted an extreme aura as they descended from the sky. Many people were instantly sent flying. Not good. The people of the Divine Union exclaimed. Lin Xian waved his hand, and the heaven-devouring jar appeared. It created thousands of vortexes that appeared above everyone's heads to protect them. Both sides retreated. A sea of blood floated between heaven and earth. Everyone's eyes were red, and killing intent surged from their bodies. In just an instant, many experts and geniuses had fallen. The battle was extremely tragic. Both sides retreated. Two extreme weapons faced each other. At this moment, a cold laugh rang out. In the void, an ancient mirror floated up and down. The people of the Gu family had arrived. They held the extreme weapon, the void mirror, and arrived beside the 10,000 dragon diagram. The heaven-devouring jar was instantly suppressed. Everyone also kept retreating. However, at this moment, the desolate tower flew out from the Tao sect below. It blocked the void mirror. On the other side, the image of a dragon appeared, roaring in all directions. The people of the Purple Mansion also appeared with the dragon pattern cauldron. Boom! Green lotuses bloomed between heaven and earth. Yinryu's extreme weapon blocked the power of the dragon pattern cauldron. 6 extreme weapons floated between heaven and earth. Everyone's scalps went numb. Was the battle of extreme Tao really about to begin? The extreme weapons erupted with power and fought with each other. Everyone retreated into the distance. No one could fight against them. The entire buried Emperor Star was watching nervously. It hadn't fully recovered yet, but the 6 extreme weapons had already shattered the endless void. All the space in the entire Alcade continent had shattered. In fact, many spatial cracks could be seen in other places. If the 6 weapons fully recovered, the buried Emperor Star would also be shattered. The people of the Purple Mansion snorted coldly. Lin Wudi, you're from the immortal graveyard. It's already heaven-defying that you're still alive. There's no need for you to continue living. Die. Killing intent surrounded them. On the other side, the void shattered and a terrifying illusion appeared in the sky. A black-robed man appeared in the sky with many experts. Their expressions were cold. Was the Purple Mansion very arrogant? Did they ask the Heavenly Court if they dared to touch Lin Xian? A cold voice sounded. Countless people were in an uproar. Were the people of the Heavenly Court here too? What an ancient sect. There were also mysterious figures on the Purple Mansion side. We knew you were coming and were waiting for you. The Purple Mansion looked at the 10,000 Dragon Court and said, restrain the extreme weapons. Without the extreme weapons, they're no match for us. The ancestors of the 10,000 Dragon Court nodded and formed hand seals. The 10,000 Dragon diagram shone brightly. At the same time, the Void Mirror and Long Winding did the same. They attacked aggressively, restraining the 3 extreme weapons of the Divine Union. In the next moment, they sneered. The extreme weapons fully recovered. They couldn't resist the combined attacks of the 6 extreme weapons. Therefore, they had to restrain the extreme weapons. Then, they would use their own trump cards to kill each other. Without the extreme weapons, Lin Xian was nothing. One of the ancestors of the 10,000 Dragon Court slashed his dragon claw at Lin Xian. Chapter 52:11. Lin Xian's pupil shrank when he felt this attack. But at this moment, Grandmaster Wildlands rushed over and punched out, blocking the dragon claw. If you want to fight, I'll keep you company. Anyone who stops me will die. One of the dragon race's patriarchs also roared. The two fought together. The sky fell, and the earth cracked. The battle between the 2 great sage peak was really terrifying. The others also retreated. However, another attack came at that moment. A palm strike was extremely vast. Another patriarch of the dragon tribe made his move. The Black Sea Dragon Race patriarch also charged over. Without an extreme grade weapon, we're not afraid of you. They attacked frantically. In an instant, several patriarchs were engaged in a fierce battle. Die. Monstrous flames swept over as one of the Golden Crow Race patriarchs charged over. The Fantasy World patriarch's eyes flashed with a terrifying light, forming a monstrous illusion that blocked the Golden Crow Race patriarch. The battle erupted again. The 10,000 Dragon Court did not send out a patriarch, but Lin Xian and the Divine Union sent out another patriarch. They were evenly matched. Everyone looked up at the sky, watching the intense battle above the 9 heavens. Before long, 2 patriarchs' bodies split apart and turned into blood mist. Their blood pierced through heaven and earth. Soon, the 2 of them recovered and started fighting again. Everyone was terrified. These patriarchs were really angry. The The savage wilderness patriarch was exceptionally terrifying. He was like a barbarian god that had been resurrected, sweeping in all directions. The dragon race patriarch's blood was boiling. The dragon race patriarch roared, his body transforming into a divine dragon that swept across heaven and earth. The battle between the two of them was terrifying. The other powerhouses also roared. They realized that it was very difficult for them to kill Lin Xian. Damn it, they had not expected that an ant in their eyes could gather so many powerhouses. The Purple Mansion sect wanted to attack, but they were stopped by the Heavenly Court. Quick, everyone attack and kill that brat together. Angry shouts rang out, and the other great sages and great sages all attacked, quickly rushing over. Lin Xian sneered. With just you? Let me show you what absolute suppression is. Without the threat of the patriarchs, Lin Xian was not afraid at all. He charged over. Die! A saint from the dragon sea roared. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled around him, and countless seas danced wildly. They charged towards Lin Xian. This was a peerless killing move, causing the scalps of the surrounding people to go numb. However, Lin Xian only snorted coldly. He punched out with an indomitable will and split open the ocean between heaven and earth. Boom! That saint's chi and blood tumbled as he was sent flying. His body had been penetrated. Just you? You want to compete with me? The difference is too great. Lin Xian pointed again. The demonic Shinsi smashed his opponent's head right away. The people around were stunned. Oh my god. Was this Lin Wudi? An initial stage great sage actually killed a sage so easily. This method was too terrifying. Was he already this terrifying? All the people watching the battle on the buried Emperor's star were incomparably shocked. There weren't many young Supremes who could compete with him. Kill him. He had to kill him. He was from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Seeing this scene, they roared crazily. They absolutely couldn't allow him to continue growing. Otherwise, they would really be in danger. Kill. The saints from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty, the Purple Mansion, and the Golden Crow race all charged out. The three great saints came together. Kid Lin, today is the day you die. Humph. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He took out the Hellfire Dragon Sword and the Great Destruction Spear and swept them in all directions. He used the Great Dragon Sword Soul to the extreme. With a slash, it swept across thousands of miles. A saint was sent flying by the attack. On the other side, the Great Destruction Spear carried a destructive aura and sent another saint flying. Between heaven and earth, the yin and yang energies gathered and turned into a yin-yang diagram that swept out in all directions. Lin Xian's attacks were bold and powerful to the extreme. Attack. Behind him, Murong Qingqing, the Crimson Dragon, the Monkey, and Yin Ruyu all attacked. The Longevity Hall, the Dao Sect's elders, and all the allies of the Divine Union attacked together. The battle erupted once again, and the entire world was completely shattered. Boom! The Dao Sect's elders roared and activated the array. Countless rays of light lit up and a shocking killing array soared into the sky. Many strong enemies were killed. At the same time, a few sacred weapons flew out and swept across all directions. In an instant, the people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were heavily injured. Damn it! The ancestors of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty roared crazily, but their extreme weapons were restrained. Meanwhile, they were fighting with the other party's ancestors. It was very difficult to kill the other party in a short period of time. Besides Lin Xian, there was still Yin Ruyu, the Monkey, and Murong Qingqing. These three were also emperor-level existences. Once they attacked with their full strength, it was really too terrifying. Damn it, they had to use their trump cards. They couldn't hold back anymore. The people from the Purple Mansion roared. In the next moment, they formed a spatial gate and a figure walked out. The moment this figure appeared, it carried a desolate aura. Everything had withered and withered. It was as if death and hell had descended. Everyone was terrified. They looked up at the sky and saw a figure walk out of the spatial gate. It was a figure surrounded by a desolate aura. The Lord of the Great Desolation, the person who had been sleeping for tens of thousands of years, had awakened once again. The Heavenly Court had attacked the Purple Mansion crazily. Now, The people from the Purple Mansion had summoned such a terrifying figure to kill Lin Xian. This wasn't just a peak great sage. More importantly, the other party was an ancient existence. The moment the Lord of the Great Desolation appeared, he formed the Great Desolation Hand. The palm covered the sky, and the desolate aura made everyone's hair stand on end. At this moment, the people from the Divine Union were shocked. Many elders vomited blood, and their faces turned pale. Damn it, he's destroying our lives. These people were terrified. Do you think you're the only ones with trump cards? The people from the heavenly court roared. Black Mountain snorted coldly and formed a seal with his palm. The people from the heavenly court also formed a spatial gate, and endless divine light danced inside. In the next moment, a golden lion charged out. He roared at the sky and shattered the sky. Instantly, the sky was filled with golden light, blocking the desolate aura. The surrounding people were shocked. On the buried Emperor's star, the experts watching the battle were also shocked. What was that? Some of the powerful elders were alarmed. Could it be the legendary Golden Lion King? The heavenly court indeed had some means. The Golden Lion was just an illusion, but it was incomparably terrifying. It carried a vast aura and blocked the desolate hand. The two of them fought, and it was hard to determine the victor. The Purple Mansion is only SOSO. It's impossible for you to kill Lin Xian today. Black Mountain stood with his hands behind his back and shouted coldly. Boom. However, at this moment, a withered claw appeared and slapped the Golden Lion. The Golden Lion was sent flying, and the golden light in the sky was shattered. Everyone was shaken. Did another terrifying expert appear? Could it be an even more ancient existence? Chapter 52:12. Who was it? The people from the Divine Union were also shocked. In the next moment, they saw the 10,000 Dragon Court's void gate open. A skeleton-like figure appeared. This person stretched out a palm and covered the rest of his body with divine crystals. It was a sleeping fossil, the kind that didn't have much life left. They didn't expect the 10,000 Dragon Court to summon such a figure. They were going to go all out. Great, they were dead meat. The people from the Golden Crow race and the Blue race all revealed sinister smiles. Who could fight against such an old ancestor? Boom. In the depths of the Tao, two violent forces flew out and condensed in the sky. There were two figures. One was a middle-aged man, and the other was a young man. They were the other two old ancestors of the Tao. They had sensed a shocking aura, so they had come. When they saw the figure inside the divine crystals, their faces turned solemn. This person was too terrifying. It seemed that they would need a few old ancestors to join forces to resist him. Boom. In front of them, the old ancestor of the 10,000 Dragon Court waved his claws and attacked again. Attack. The two new old ancestors of the Tao sect roared and attacked together. They were forced back and blocked the other party's divine ability. The others were also shocked. The two old ancestors had been forced back. This person was too terrifying. Old ancestor Huan Shi snorted coldly. It didn't matter. Although he was powerful, he didn't have much life left and couldn't fully recover. The people from the Divine Union also calmed down. They could also see that the other party had only stretched out a palm. It seemed like he couldn't use his full strength. This was a good opportunity for them. Was that so? The people from the 10,000 Dragon Court snorted coldly. In the next moment, another figure walked out of the void gate. It was also the figure of the person sealed by the divine crystals. This was also an ancient living fossil. Countless people were stunned. Another one had appeared. In the Tao, the people on the Tao side also had ugly expressions. Everyone on the buried Emperor's star was terrified. Was this the foundation of the Emperor race? It was too powerful. Some of the ancient families felt their scalps go numb. They felt that without their Emperor weapons, they were about the same as the Emperor race. However, it seemed like that wasn't the case. Even the 5-peak great sages couldn't fight against the two living fossils that had come out. Furthermore, it had been sealed. If the two living fossils fully recovered, would the ancient families be able to resist them? It was hard for them to imagine. Damn it! Monkey and the others gritted their teeth. Yin Ruyu's expression was gloomy and cold. She said that the Tao Protector should activate it. An old man appeared beside her. After hearing what she said, he was also shocked. Her Highness, are we really going to use it? Yin Ruyu nodded. I understand. The Tao Protector formed a seal with his palm. In the next moment, a green lotus appeared on the Tao Protector's body and spun continuously. There was a terrifying aura on it. Countless people were terrified. A Tao Protector was incredible. He should also be an ancient figure. Ordinary seals. Was he going to release the seal now? Sure enough, the aura emitted by the other party was no weaker than that of the living fossils from before. This made the expressions of the people from the divine union relax. He still had a chance to fight. Boom. Lin Xian also formed hand seals. He released a trace of the Hellfire Dragon's aura. The Hellfire Dragon's figure appeared. The terrifying flames swept across the land, causing countless people to panic. Did Lin Xian have such a person by his side? The Heavenly Court and the Purple Mansion sent out 2 more experts each, and they faced each other. Damn it, the advantage they had was gone again. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Court were shocked. They had even brought out the living fossils. How could they not suppress the other party? The people on the Hidden Emperor Star, like Zhang Tianya and the other desolate ancient families, were all terrified. However, they did not expect Lin Xian to have a foundation that was not weaker than the Arch families. It was too shocking. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Court had cold expressions. They gritted their teeth. Everyone's forehead split open, and a drop of blood flew out. A blood-colored altar was formed in the air. Then, they respectfully knelt down on one knee. Old ancestor, please show yourself. Countless people were terrified. The 10,000 Dragon Court's old ancestor knelt down and called out to the other party. Just how terrifying was this person? Everyone's hair stood on end. The Hellfire Dragon's eyelids were also twitching. Not good, kid. Be careful. If you can't do it, quickly use the heaven-swallowing jar to escape. What did you discover? Lin Xian was shocked. What kind of person could make the Hellfire Dragon so terrified? On the other side, the people from the Black Sea's dragon race were also terrified. The Crimson Dragon kept retreating, its blood boiling. At this moment, everyone felt a sense of suppression. A figure appeared on the blood-colored altar. It was a figure that was sitting cross-legged. This figure was extremely strange. Only the dragon head was intact. However, its body had already turned into white bones, and a mysterious light was emitting from it. This dragon head was biting on a token. Its eyes were tightly shut, as if it was already dead. Endless dragon blood gathered on its body, causing the dragon head to emit a terrifying light. The token in its hand became blood-colored and glowed. In the next moment, the dragon head's eyes shook and opened slightly. An extremely terrifying and oppressive aura swept out in all directions. At this moment, the Black Sea's dragon race, the dragon race, the thunder dragon, the cloud dragon, and all the other dragon race were terrified. They could not help but want to kneel down. The crimson dragon felt as if it was struck by lightning. The Hellfire Dragon also said, "Kid, be careful. Don't provoke him." After saying that, his figure became dimmer and dimmer. However, he used Hellfire to form an armor to protect Lin Xian. Lin Xian felt a shocking aura. What could scare the Hellfire Dragon away? It was too unbelievable. Soon, when he sensed this aura, his chi and blood began to churn. His bloodline was about to split open. The great dragon sword soul in his body let out a crazy roar. Lin Xian's sword chi soared to the sky to resist this power. The others also felt the suppression from their bloodline and soul. The Tao sect's old ancestor and Yin Ruyu's Tao protector also frowned. This was probably an extremely shocking figure. The entire buried Emperor Star was in an uproar. They could feel this power sweeping out in all directions. Everyone could feel it. The weaker ones directly knelt on the ground. The stronger elders were also trembling in fear. Who was this person? The remote antiquity family and the peerless great sect were in despair. The Emperor race's pupils constricted. The Phoenix race's people exclaimed, "No way, how did he come out?" The Kirin race was even more shocked. Impossible, how could he still be alive? He should be dead already. The Kuan Peng race was terrified. Lin Wudi was definitely dead. The Yi family and the Gu family were also shocked. They thought of an extremely ancient figure, but he shouldn't have appeared again. Who was he? The Crimson Dragon roared crazily. The Black Sea's dragon race's people were also terrified. The Desolation sect's old ancestor Huan Shi, and the experts from the other families were no longer fighting. They all retreated. The Thousand Dragon Court's people also retreated. The two sides confronted each other again. However, the atmosphere was even more terrifying than before. Everyone was guessing the identity of this white-boned dragon head character. Chapter 52:13. Between heaven and earth, the atmosphere was extremely quiet. Everyone on the buried Emperor's star was paying attention. Over at the 10,000 Dragons Imperial Court, the 5 old ancestors knelt on one knee with incomparably respectful expressions. Even the 4 living fossils bowed in respect. This shocked everyone. What level were these old ancestors and living fossils at? But they were so respectful. Who was this person in front of them? Lord Dragon Tomb, we deserve to die. We failed to protect the prince. Please punish us, Lord Dragon Tomb. Lord Dragon Tomb, please kill the enemy. These old ancestors knelt on the ground and cried bitterly. Lord Dragon Tomb. Everyone was shocked. This name was so unfamiliar. Some elders were at a loss. However, the pupils of the old ancestors of the Black Sea Dragon race, Dragon Sea Dragon race, and other dragon races shrank. They recalled a legend. The Yi family, Gu family, Phoenix race, and other emperor races exclaimed. It was indeed him. Who was this old ancestor? The Crimson Dragon gritted his teeth and asked, who was this person in the dragon race? He really couldn't imagine whose aura was so powerful. Patriarch Xinhai gritted his teeth and said, Lord Dragon Tomb was the legendary guardian of the Dragon Emperor's tomb. When these words came out, countless people were shocked. Guardian of the Dragon Emperor's tomb? Heavens, how much trust did the Dragon Emperor have to have in order to do this? The other party's strength was definitely terrifying to the extreme. Moreover, the Dragon King's tomb definitely had the Dragon Emperor's great Tao. The other party had been comprehending it all this time. His strength was definitely shocking. On the other side, the old ancestor of the Dragon Sea Dragon race also laughed crazily. That's right. Lord Dragon Tomb was the legendary guardian of the tomb. We have hope. Lin Xian, you're dead meat. They were really too shocked. An old ancestor snorted coldly. You bunch of ants, just wait to die. Lord Dragon Tomb was the guardian of the Dragon Emperor's tomb. Back then, he had almost broken through and become a quasi-emperor. Even if he failed, he wasn't someone a peak great sage could compare to. He could sweep away all of you with just one hand. A cold voice sounded, causing the faces of the people on the path to become ugly. The other party had broken through to the quasi-emperor realm. The young disciples were at a loss. Didn't he fail? What was there to be proud of? However, those old ancestors, especially those peak great sage experts, felt their scalps go numb. They had reached this realm and naturally understood how terrifying it was. Although they stood at the peak of the great sage realm, it was difficult for them to take a step forward in the past few thousand years. One more step, and he would be a quasi-emperor. However, it was like 100,000 mountains that made them kneel there for the rest of their lives, unable to move forward. If someone could break through this natural chasm and break through to the quasi-emperor realm, even if they failed, they would still far surpass other peak great saints. This was why they were so terrified when they heard it. This dragon tomb was much more powerful than them. It was even more terrifying than the sealed living fossils. It was over. Some people were in despair. Dao Zong also shook his head. If such a person appeared, they would not be able to resist at all. They began to transmit messages to Lin Xian, Murong Qingqing, and the others. Don't fight this battle. We've already lost. Hurry up and summon your imperial weapons. Let's defend. With this dragon tomb around, no one would be able to contend against the nest of 10,000 dragons. The young geniuses were shocked when they heard the old ancestors' words. Were they defeated? The other party had just appeared and hadn't even made a move yet, but they had already admitted defeat. Especially when these patriarchs admitted defeat personally. It It was hard to imagine how terrifying the person in front of them was. Lin Xian frowned. There was actually such a person in the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Unbelievable. Were they really going to give up? For this battle, he had gathered countless families and sects and gathered a huge amount of resources. That was why he was able to revive so many imperial weapons. He had already fought to this extent. He was unwilling to give up. In front, Lord Dragon Tomb seemed to be still asleep. However, when he heard the cries and shouts of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty's patriarchs, he slowly opened his eyes. In the next moment, a blood-colored light exploded in his eyes. What did you say? The Dragon Prince is dead? This voice was abnormally low, but when it spread out, it was like 10,000 bolts of thunder. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty's patriarchs who were kneeling on the ground spat out blood as if they were struck by lightning. Their bodies shattered. However, they didn't dare to resist at all. Lord Dragon Tomb, please calm down. We deserve to die. The light in Dragon Tomb's eyes became more and more terrifying. The entire world shook. At this moment, everyone in the hidden Earth's core felt a sense of fear. Why did it feel like an extreme weapon had been revived? As expected from the person who protected the Dragon Emperor tomb. No wonder the Taoist sect patriarchs had to admit defeat. His aura alone was enough to sweep everything and injure so many patriarchs. If he wanted to attack, wouldn't he be able to easily wipe out these patriarchs? This was an extremely terrifying person. If the emperor didn't appear, he would probably be the strongest person in the world. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty actually had such a person. Lin Xian was dead. Dragon Tomb's body gave out cracking sounds, and his white bones were shaking. He was furious. Back then, I personally handed the Dragon Prince to you. Do you remember the oath you made? You swore to protect the prince. But now, you actually told me that the Dragon Prince is dead. He stood up like a god was about to descend. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Cracks appeared on the bodies of the patriarchs. They kept on kowtowing. The 4 living fossils' faces were ashen white as they retreated. They were even more in awe. Lord Dragon Tomb, the situation is indeed out of our expectations. It is that kid. One of the living fossils pointed at Lin Xian and said with gritted teeth. He gathered 4 emperor weapons and attacked the Dragon Prince. We really didn't expect it. It's you. When Dragon Tomb heard about the 4 emperor weapons, he was also stunned. No wonder the prince died. No matter how strong he was, if he was targeted by the 4 emperor weapons, he would definitely die. His gaze swept across the void and stared at Lin Xian. Lin Xian instantly turned into a black hole. Retreat. Murong Qingcheng and the others were terrified and quickly retreated. Lin Xian's body shook and retreated into the distance. However, in the next moment, his gaze swept over and he spat out blood as if he was struck by lightning. Cracks appeared on his powerful body. But at this moment, the dragon roared crazily and swept out. The Hellfire Dragon also secretly shot out flames to block the attack. In the end, Lin Xian was injured, but his body didn't split open. It was too shocking. Even the patriarchs were injured, but Lin Wudi could block it. No wonder he could survive the attack of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Countless people were shocked. Dragon Tomb Patriarch's eyes also burst out with light. You can actually block my gaze. With the cultivation of an early-stage great saint, no wonder you dare to kill the prince. Dragon Tomb Patriarch was also shocked. He had lived for many years and seen many geniuses. It was rare to see someone like Lin Xian in his life. If nothing unexpected happened, the other party would very likely become a great emperor. He definitely wouldn't allow such a person to live. Today, I will personally send you on your way and use your blood to pay tribute to the dragon soul of the prince. Chapter 52:14. He took a step forward, shattering heaven and earth. The entire holy abyss ancient city shook violently, as if it couldn't withstand his kick at all. Lin Xian retreated, vomiting blood, and his face turned pale. Give me strength. With a furious roar, the power in the sword world circulated crazily. The great dragon sword soul transformed into a peerless sword shadow that enveloped him to block this aura. Sensing this aura, Long Mu was even more shocked. Great Dragon Sword Soul, you actually have this thing. Aunt, this belongs to our 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. You don't deserve to have it. Kill the other party. Firstly, take revenge for the Dragon Prince and destroy a strong enemy. Secondly, this was the Great Dragon Sword Soul. There was even a trace of excitement in his eyes. If he could obtain this thing, he might have a chance to advance further. A white-boned dragon claw stretched forward, causing the sky to collapse and the earth to crack. At this moment, everyone felt fear. Their bodies couldn't move at all. Attack! The savage wilderness ancestor and the others roared. The 6 ancestors attacked together. They blocked in front of Lin Xian. With a boom, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The 6 of them were sent flying, blood flowing from the corners of their mouths. What? Was he defeated? Even the 6 old ancestors couldn't stop this dragon tomb? It's over. This Lin Xian is dead for sure. Lin Xian's expression became even more unsightly. He waved the great dragon sword soul and struck out with a shocking sword strike, displaying terrifying power. However, he was still forced back. It was too strong. Unless he used endless resources to fully awaken the great dragon sword soul and strike out with a shocking strike. However, with so many extreme weapons, he wasn't confident in killing the other party. One had to know that this was such a powerful enemy. Even the 6 ancestors weren't his match. If the other party controlled the 10,000 dragon diagram, how terrifying would it be? Kid, I didn't expect you to have the resources to activate it. But so what? Long Mu snorted coldly and formed a seal. The 10,000 dragon diagram shook violently and flew towards him. Then, it kept changing in front of him. An even more terrifying aura spread out in all directions. Not good. The other party is really going to use the 10,000 dragon diagram. Countless people were terrified. In the other party's hands, the power of the extreme weapons would be even more terrifying. Lin Xian also recalled his heaven-devouring jar to defend himself. Countless vortexes appeared around him. Suppress him. The 10,000 dragons picture was extremely powerful, and it gradually suppressed the heaven-devouring jar. It couldn't be helped. The dragon's tomb was simply too powerful. Seeing this, Long Mu shook his head. Ants are useless. Even if I give you an extreme weapon, you still won't be my match. Go to hell. With a wave of his hand, a huge dragon flew towards Lin Xian. The power contained within was simply too terrifying. It's over. Everyone knew that Lin Xian would die without a doubt. The heaven-swallowing jar could not be used, and the great dragon sword soul was suppressed. What other tricks did the other party have? This kid was too arrogant. The Sun Palace did not kill him, so he should hide. He would come out after he made another breakthrough. Who would have thought that the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty would have something like the Dragon Tomb? In an era where the great emperors did not appear, the other party was the strongest. The spectators sighed, while those from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty laughed. This time, the opponent was definitely going to die. On the other hand, the Divine Union was in despair. No. However, facing an expert like the Dragon Tomb, they could not do anything. They had no power to fight back at all. Even the patriarchs were in despair. Lin Xian's expression was also extremely cold. He was indeed suppressed. However, there was nothing he could do. The other party had once attacked the Boundary Emperor. Such a person was simply too strong. However, he still had a trump card. At most, he would enter the sword world and be injured. However, he would definitely be able to escape with his life. Gritting his teeth, Lin Xian was ready to take action. However, at that moment, a vortex appeared in front of him. It directly swallowed the huge dragon. What was going on? How could the other party still use the heaven-swallowing jar? The surrounding people were all stunned. The Gu family also frowned. It was impossible. The heaven-swallowing jar was being suppressed by the 10,000 dragons portrait. How could this kid counterattack? Lin Xian was even more stunned because this vortex was not created by him. Someone had made a move. Who was it? He looked around. He only knew 2 people who possessed a devouring vortex. Could it be? The Dragon Tomb's expression was also gloomy. He could sense that it was not the aura of the heaven-swallowing jar. He snorted coldly. Who would dare to make a move secretly? Get out here. If he dares to go against me, I will send him to hell. A cold voice sounded, causing everyone's scalps to go numb. Even the 6 old ancestors could not defeat the other party. Who would dare to make a move? Moreover, it was to help Lin Xian. Could it be that there was an extremely terrifying person on Lin Xian's side? In the Divine Union, these people were all stunned. They did not know such a person at all. However, at that moment, a vortex appeared in the sky. Immediately after, a figure appeared in the vortex. That person was half leaning against the vortex. He was dressed in a Taoist robe, and his hair was like a waterfall. He was drunk and holding a wine gourd in his hand, drinking non-stop. The appearance of such a person stunned everyone. Who was this person? They did not know. Was he the one who made a move secretly? Countless people were stunned. Some old ancestors were shocked. They could not sense the other party's aura, but the other party gave them an extremely dangerous feeling. It was as if the other party was covered in fog and could not be seen clearly. The man who appeared in the vortex had a calm expression, as if he did not care about his surroundings at all. He was still shaking the wine gourd and smiling faintly. What can you do if I make a move on you? You are courting death. Long Mu roared and stretched out his dragon claws. A terrifying power could destroy heaven and earth. Everyone knew that it was this attack that had attacked previously. It had forced the 6 old ancestors to retreat. One could only imagine how terrifying it was. Could this drinking man block it? It was over. This person was courting death. Yes, no matter how strong he was just an old ancestor. He probably did not know Long Mu's strength at all. He seemed to be carefree and calm like an immortal, but he was probably stupid. Many people shook their heads. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Court and the Z Mansion sneered. In the face of such an attack, the immortal-like man did not care at all. He waved his sleeves and a vortex flew out, swallowing the dragon bone palm directly. He blocked it. Heavens, it was so easy and casual. Countless people were stunned. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Court were stunned. The people from the Taoist sect were also in disbelief. This person was too strong. What kind of person was Long Mu? He was an existence even more terrifying than the old ancestors. But now, he was being suppressed by someone else? Long Mu's pupils constricted. He suddenly retracted his palm and shouted coldly, "Who are you?" He rode the wind on his sword and roamed the world, drinking wine and swallowing the sun and moon. "I am the Wine Sword Celestial." His voice was vast and descended from the 9 heavens, shocking countless people. Wine Sword Celestial. Was that his title? But why had they not heard of it before? Even the patriarchs were at a loss. However, Long Mu's pupils constricted, and he roared crazily. Impossible! How could it be him? The old ancestor of the 10,000 Dragon Court walked over and said, "Who are you? How dare you interfere in the matters of the 10,000 Dragon Court? Do you believe that we will destroy your soul?" As they spoke, they used the 10,000 dragon diagram and released a terrifying aura. The entire buried Emperor star was shocked. There was actually still a living quasi-emperor in this world. This was beyond their expectations. Such a character was already shockingly heaven-defying. Even if they resurrected all of their extreme weapons, they still wouldn't be able to kill him. The 10,000 Dragon Court's living fossil elders were terrified, and the experts were so scared that they knelt on the ground. Long Mu quickly retracted the 10,000 dragons diagram and covered their surroundings. Unexpectedly, there were still quasi-emperors in the world. However, since you are a high and mighty quasi-emperor, shouldn't you be trying to break through to the supreme great emperor realm? Why should he meddle in the affairs of the mortal world? Senior, please stop. If Senior doesn't care about this matter, my 10,000 Dragon Dynasty is willing to offer the Dragon Emperor ancient scripture for Senior to take a look. As soon as these words came out, everyone was shocked again. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty was going all out. The ancient Dragon Emperor scripture was the inheritance of a great emperor. Only the Dragon Prince of the Dragon race could view it. No one else had the chance. However, The 10,000 Dragon Court had actually offered such an offer. From this, it could be seen how terrifying a quasi-emperor's strength was. The people of the Tao sect and Divine Union became nervous. No one could refuse such an offer, especially the quasi-emperors. They were only half a realm away from the Great Emperor realm. If they could obtain the Great Emperor ancient scripture, perhaps the other party could really become a great emperor. Would the other party still stand on Lin Xian's side? In the sky, the wine sword immortal narrowed his eyes. The Dragon Emperor ancient scripture was really an offer that was hard to refuse. He looked down at Lin Xian and smiled. Little fellow, what do you think? Lin Xian's eyes turned red. Lord Wine, is it really you? That's great. I didn't expect to be able to see you again. Men don't cry easily, but Lin Xian was really too excited. Lord Wine was his first master and had even helped him open his meridians and start his martial path. Without Lord Wine, he would still be a cripple. Back then, Lord Wine had left, saying that they would meet again someday. Lin Xian had cultivated from a small cultivator to an invincible great sage. However, there was still no news of Lord Wine. He had even fallen into despair. However, at his most dangerous moment, Lord Wine had come to save him. Lin Xian took a deep breath and laughed heartily. Lord Jiao, if you want to see the Dragon Emperor ancient scripture, I'll let you see it after I take down the 10,000 Dragon Court. The surrounding people were stunned. The other party knew him and seemed to be very familiar with him. The people of the Tao heaved a sigh of relief. No wonder he would help Lin Xian. The people of the 10,000 Dragon Court had ugly expressions. How could this be? How could the other party know a quasi-emperor? The Wine Sword Immortal looked at the 10,000 Dragon Court and smiled. You heard it. If I want to see the Dragon Emperor ancient scripture, I'll just snatch it. The pupils of the people of the 10,000 Dragon Court shrank. They really had no way to deal with such a quasi-emperor. Long Mu gritted his teeth. Senior, although you are a quasi-emperor, my 10,000 Dragon Court is an emperor race. Although we can't kill you, we can protect ourselves. Senior, do you really want to fight with my 10,000 Dragon Court until both sides suffer? On the buried Emperor Star, the other emperor races also fell silent. Indeed, they couldn't kill the other party. However, if they defended the mountain gate and used extreme weapons to defend, the other party wouldn't be able to kill his way in. Of course, if the other party really had an extraordinary relationship with Lin Xian, they could use a few extreme weapons. None of the emperor races could withstand it. Both sides suffer? The 10,000 Dragon Court thought too highly of themselves. Lord Wine's eyes shone with a cold light. Senior, do you really want to bully the weak? Long Mu roared as the power in his body began to gather. However, Lord Wine was still not afraid. Bully the weak? With a wave of his hand, he grabbed a living fossil of the dragon race and brought it to his side. The living fossil crazily attacked, but all of its offensive divine abilities were swallowed by the vortex. It couldn't injure Lord Wine at all. She was terrified and in despair. In front of the other party, she was just an ant. Lord Wine slapped the other party into a bloody mist and then said coldly, "Is this considered bullying the weak? Then let me ask you, when so many of your ancestors attacked Lin Xian, is this considered bullying the weak? Since you can do it, why can't I do it?" As he spoke, a living fossil of the dragon race was destroyed. Everyone's scalps went numb. The people of the dragon race also fell into despair. They knew that this quasi-emperor was standing up for Lin Xian. Why aren't you saying anything? Lord Wine waved his hand and grabbed another ancestor of the Golden Crow race. Then, with a flick of his finger, the other party's bones shattered and he was nailed to death in the void. Chapter 52:16. In the blink of an eye, the old ancestor was turned into ashes. The people of the buried Emperor's Star were shocked. What was a peerless expert? The Wine Sword Immortal was one. What was a peerless expert? The scene in front of them was one. Who cared if you were an old ancestor or a living fossil? One finger was enough to destroy everything. Was this a quasi-emperor? He had completely surpassed a sage. Too powerful. The people of the Divine Union also clenched their fists. Roussillon even said that it was this old man. He naturally remembered that he had met Lord Gio before. He didn't expect to see him again after so many years. He also didn't expect that the other party was a quasi-emperor. In the sword world, the Hellfire Dragon saw this scene and sucked in a cold breath. Boy, you actually know such a person. He is as terrifying as that old man. He thought of Xiaojuyo again. That old man could easily beat him up. Why were there so many monsters around Lin Xian? Senior, please spare us. We won't dare to do it again. The people of the Golden Crow race begged for mercy. The Blue race, Dragon Sea race, and the other families all knelt down and begged for mercy. What a joke. Even their old ancestors were killed in one move. Others? They were really tired of living. You don't dare? If I didn't appear, would you have stopped? Lord Gio and Shun Qing were cold and unmoved. They continued to attack. The Blue race, Dragon Sea race, Lightning Dragon race, Wind Dragon race, and the other allies of the 10,000 Dragon Court all had old ancestors fall. In an instant, heaven and earth rumbled and a sea of blood spread. Everyone was in despair. However, they didn't dare to fight back. Even if they were ancient families, if they really angered a quasi-emperor, their families would be annihilated. The other party had only killed a few old ancestors to stand up for Lin Xian. Therefore, they could only bear with it and swallow their grievances. Another living fossil from the 10,000 Dragon Court fell. Longmu finally couldn't take it anymore. He gritted his teeth and roared, "Senior, we were wrong. We shouldn't have used an old ancestor to attack Lin Gongzi. We were wrong. We won't dare to do it again. Senior, please help us." The 10,000 Dragon Court, the insufferably arrogant emperors, finally lowered their heads. Everyone felt that it was inconceivable. Even the emperor race sighed. In the era when the great emperors did not appear, they were the most terrifying experts. However, the appearance of a quasi-emperor made them feel as if they were facing a great enemy. The 10,000 Dragon Imperial Court could only lower its head and beg for mercy. At this moment, the young genius disciples all clenched their fists. This was only a quasi-emperor. A true great emperor would probably be above the 9 heavens. They had to become that kind of person. Humph. It was normal for young supremes to compete with each other. Death had happened since ancient times. But you used the ancestor's hand to kill geniuses. That's something I can't stand. This is a warning. Next time, if anyone dares to send someone at the level of an ancestor to assassinate Lin Xian, I will make that clan or sect disappear. We don't dare. Those families and sects hurriedly lowered their heads. Some people sighed. With a quasi-emperor behind him, Lin Wudi could probably sweep through everything. Even those princes had to back off. In the future, no one would dare to provoke him. As expected, even the top geniuses looked at Lin Xian with fear in their eyes. However, Lord Alcohol said that the Battle of the Emperor Road was an enemy of the world. It was just that the difference in strength between the patriarchs was too great, so the ones who attacked Lin Xian could not be the patriarchs of the various clans. But other than that, they could attack as they pleased, whether it was a one-on-one or a group assassination. Everyone was stunned. Did they hear wrongly? The Winesword Immortal actually asked someone to kill Lin Xian. What was going on? However, the pupils of those top experts constricted. This was to pressure Lin Xian, because flowers that grew in a greenhouse could not withstand the wind and rain. Only in the midst of endless battles could the strongest be tempered. That's right. Lord Alcohol naturally had this principle. He had walked all the way to the quasi-emperor realm. Naturally, he knew how to cultivate. Therefore, he only guaranteed that he would not allow the patriarchs to attack Lin Xian, but he would not stop the others. He did not want to destroy Lin Xian's cultivation. Senior, you're right. We understand. Long Mu turned around and left with his people. After the 10,000 Dragons dynasty left, the Z Mansion also left quickly. Next, the Gu family, the Golden Crow race, the Z Mansion, and the others all left. In an instant, the great battle stopped, and this news spread throughout the buried Emperor Star. The appearance of a quasi-emperor was enough to change the entire world. Even those monarch clans became cautious now. They also jointly gave some orders. For example, Peak great sages were forbidden from attacking young geniuses. In other words, the patriarchs were not allowed to attack. This was the same as what Lord Alcohol had said. However, back then, Lord Alcohol had instructed Lin Xin to do so. But now, these emperor clans were speaking to the entire buried emperor star. They had no choice. They were also afraid that the other clans would join forces again. After all, not everyone was like Lin Xin, who had a quasi-emperor behind him. In an instant, the entire buried emperor star reached a consensus. Once an ancestor-level figure attacked, they would be hunted down by the other clans. The Divine Union cheered. They still could not believe that a quasi-emperor had appeared. He had appeared on their side. The people of the Dao sect were also nervous. A quasi-emperor had actually descended on their Dao sect. This was enough to glorify the entire history. Dao sect, Divine Union residents. Lin Xin and Lord Alcohol stood in the courtyard. Lord Alcohol smiled. The little guy had grown faster than expected. He could already kill the arch. Lin Xin asked, Lord Alcohol, where have you been all these years? Oh, right. How is my father? Do you know? Lord Alcohol replied, your father is fine. Your mother is also by your father's side. It's just that he can't come over to see you yet. However, he has always been paying attention to you. This time, he was the first to know that there was danger. He can't split himself, so I came. Why? Lin Xin was surprised. Lord Alcohol, you are a quasi-emperor. Is there any difficulty? Lord Alcohol shook his head. So what if you are a quasi-emperor? You have not reached this realm yet. When you break through a few more realms, you will know that we still have a peerless enemy. At this point, Lord Alcohol's expression became extremely solemn. Lin Xin was also surprised. Who exactly was this person that could make a quasi-emperor act like he was facing a great enemy? He did not know. However, he said, don't worry, Lord Alcohol. I will break through as soon as possible. He was only an early-stage great sage now. When he broke through to mid-stage great sage, or even late-stage great sage, then his combat strength would definitely surpass that of the patriarchs. Perhaps he would be qualified to know the secrets of these quasi-emperors. Lord Alcohol nodded. All right, I should leave. Don't worry, those patriarchs will definitely not dare to make a move on you. Was he leaving again? Lin Xin's eyes turned red. He took a deep breath and said, I will catch up to you as soon as possible. One day, we will fight side by side. Lord Alcohol smiled and patted Lin Xin's shoulder. A vortex appeared behind him and swallowed him up. Fight side by side. Lin Xin clenched his fists, and a cold light burst out from his eyes. He was looking forward to this day. Chapter 52:17. The door of the Divine Union opened and Yin Ruyu, Morong Qingqing, Monkey, and the others came in. They realized that there was only Lin Xin around. Morong Qingqing asked, has the Boundary Emperor Senior left? Lin Xin nodded. Lord Alcohol had already left. The Savage Wilderness Ancestor, Fantasy World Ancestor, and the others also sighed. Such a person was elusive. After leaving this time, they would probably never see him again. However, they soon looked at Lin Xin. They knew that with Lin Xin's talent, he would reach that level sooner or later. You should be safe now. They won't dare to attack you again. If there's any danger, contact us. The Savage Wilderness Ancestor said a few words before returning. The battle this time had also injured Dao Zhong. They had to hurry up and recover. The other families and sects of the Divine Union were the same. Lin Xin told them to rest and recuperate. What do you plan to do next? The Crimson Dragon asked. They felt that it was time to cultivate in seclusion. Lin Xin said, next, I'm going to the Thousand Dragon Court. The surrounding people were stunned. Morong Qingqing also said, Brother Xin, are you having a fever? Why are you going there? Yin Ruyu also said, yes, you just finished fighting with them. Are you going there? Are you going to start another war? I won't let this matter rest. If Lord Alcohol hadn't come this time, I would have been in danger. Does the Thousand Dragon Court really think that I'm a pushover? Lord Alcohol just ordered the patriarchs not to make a move. I want to see who in the Thousand Dragon Court can withstand my anger. Lin Xian's eyes flashed with killing intent. If the patriarchs of the Thousand Dragon Court didn't make a move, he could casually beat up the other geniuses. This time, he wanted to let the Thousand Dragon Court know the consequences of offending him. Good idea. The Crimson Dragon jumped out. We'll wipe out the Thousand Dragon Court. Yes, that's right. Aren't they arrogant? Aren't they attacking the Divine Union? This time, we'll kill his family and let him know what it feels like to be attacked. Yin Ruyu was stunned. The others were also stunned when they heard about it. This Lin Xian was truly domineering. Soon, Lin Xian swallowed a medicinal pill and rose into the air, leaving the path and heading towards the 10,000 Dragons Court. When the Taoist patriarch learned of this, his face was filled with shock. When they heard Bai Susu's voice transmission, they were stunned. He was going to the 10,000 Dragons Court. They quickly came to their senses and shook their heads with a smile. The 10,000 Dragons Imperial Court was truly pitiful. They had actually provoked such a demon king. On the buried Emperor Star, there were also some people from the other clans and sects who stayed behind. After all, they also wanted to inquire about the quasi-emperors. However, they did not see the quasi-emperor. Instead, they saw Lin Xian and the others leaving the path and flying into the distance. What was going on? Where did Lin Xian go? The battle had just ended. What was he going to do instead of recuperating? Countless people were stunned. Someone was following them in secret. They discovered that Lin Xian had gone to the 10,000 Dragons Court. What did this mean? These people were all stunned. With the enmity between Lin Xian and the 10,000 Dragons Court, he definitely wouldn't go over to chat and drink tea. Could it be that he wanted to make a move against the 10,000 Dragons Court? The moment this thought came to their minds, they sucked in a cold breath. They thought of a possibility. No way. This kid is so bold. Hurry and inform the clans. I feel that a storm is coming. These people quickly informed the others. In an instant, the clans and sects of the buried Emperor Star were shocked once again. Countless gazes gathered on the 10,000 Dragons Court. At this moment, the atmosphere in the 10,000 Dragons Court was extremely oppressive. They had joined forces to form 3 great emperor weapons and were prepared to kill Lin Xian. However, they had returned empty-handed. This time, they had suffered a crushing defeat. This was something that they could not tolerate. However, the enemy was too strong. He was a quasi-emperor. He was so strong that they felt despair. Damn it! If the Dragon Emperor was still alive, the Wine Sword Immortal would not dare to be arrogant towards us. Some people gritted their teeth and roared. However, some people shook their heads. Forget it. As long as the Great Emperor doesn't come out, a quasi-emperor is not someone we can provoke. Damn it. It's all that Lin Xian's fault. If it weren't for him, our 10,000 Dragons Court wouldn't have fallen to such a state. That's right, Lin Xian. We have to kill him. With a quasi-emperor behind him, who would dare to make a move against him? So what? The quasi-emperor said that the patriarchs were not allowed to make a move, but the great sages below the patriarchs could. No matter how strong Lin Wudi is he really invincible? I don't believe that no one below the patriarchs can kill him. Yes, that's right. Let's control our cultivation and gather our strength before making a move against him. He killed the Dragon Prince, so it's only right for us to take revenge on him. Even the quasi-emperor couldn't say anything. If they were really anxious, even the quasi-emperor wouldn't be able to do anything to us if we joined forces. These people gritted their teeth and roared. However, the other patriarchs and living fossils had cold expressions. The current Lord Dragon Tomb had once again returned to live in seclusion. Such a person would only appear in a life-and-death situation. Usually, he would have to be sealed. Even when he cultivated, he would have to be sealed. However, their hearts were bleeding. This time, 3 patriarchs and 2 living fossils had died. What kind of damage was this? One had to know that it was very rare to become a patriarch. There were even fewer living fossils left behind. This time, the blow to them was really too great. It could be said that it was a heavy blow. It was likely that the 10,000 Dragon Court would not be able to recover for thousands of years. Damn it! In the golden age of the Emperor's Road, Was the 10,000 Dragon Court going to be eliminated? The young cultivators of the 10,000 Dragon Court were filled with despair. The death of a few patriarchs made them feel like the sky was about to collapse. Outside the 10,000 Dragon Court, a group of people appeared. The leader was Lin Xian. The group of people quickly landed. Who was it? Stop! The guards of the 10,000 Dragon Court shouted angrily. In this situation, who would dare to behave atrociously here? However, when they saw who it was, those guards spat out a mouthful of blood. Lin Xian, you still dare to come? They realized that the person who came was actually Lin Wuti. It was because of him that they suffered heavy losses this time. Several patriarchs had died. They wanted nothing more than to tear him into pieces. But now, he actually took the initiative to come knocking on their door. Far away from the 10,000 Dragon Court, there were many figures standing in the mountains. Some people were using an array formation to observe the situation ahead. Those people were shocked when they saw it. It was really Lin Wuti. Heavens, he went to the 10,000 Dragon Court. What did he want to do? Lin Xian looked ahead and said coldly, "Tell your patriarchs that I'm here for revenge." Revenge? The guards of the 10,000 Dragon Court were stunned. Those who were watching the battle in the distance almost spat out a mouthful of blood. The ones who suffered the most in this battle were the 10,000 Dragon Court and their allies. Although Lin Xian was injured, the patriarchs and top geniuses were not dead. Now, he wanted revenge? They sucked in a breath of cold air and were terrified. This Lin Wuti must not be provoked. That's right, the 10,000 Dragon Court was probably vomiting blood now. Such a person could not be made an enemy of. The other party was a demon king who would make his enemies fall into eternal darkness and despair. Chapter 52:18. When the 1,000 Dragon Court heard the news, they were also stunned. What did you say? Lin Wuti was here. Just outside? What a joke. If he dares to come, isn't he afraid that we'll kill him? What did you say? He said he was here for revenge? Those dragon race powerhouses vomited blood. Damn it. Why is he here for revenge? We should be the ones taking revenge. These people were so angry that they stomped their feet. Damn it. He was too arrogant. What did he mean? Was he looking down on them? Damn it. Let him come in. Let's attack and tear him into pieces. The dragon race elder roared crazily. At the same time, the array formation opened a passage. Lin Wuti, if you want to die, then get in here. Lin Xian sneered and strode in. I'm not here to die, but to take revenge. The 1,000 Dragon Court attacked me. How do you plan to die? Kid, don't be arrogant. Do you think that with a quasi-emperor behind you, you can do whatever you want? This is the emperor race. Since you're here today, don't even think about leaving. The 1,000 Dragon diagram released a few terrifying auras, shaking heaven and earth. Toad and the others turned pale. Lin Xian sneered. You dare to appear with the aura of an ancestor? Do you want to die? Why? Do you want me to invite a quasi-emperor to appear? As soon as these words came out, a few old figures in the sky almost fell from the sky in fright. Those few terrifying auras also became obscure. The other experts were gnashing their teeth in anger. You're too arrogant. Do you think you'll be safe if the ancestor doesn't make a move? That's right. There's no need for the ancestor to kill you. The others are enough. Oh, is that so? I have the same idea. That's why I'm here today to spar with you. Let's have a life and death battle. A fair battle. Those below the ancestor of your sect. When I appear, life and death will be up to fate. Damn it. Are you trying to bully my dragon clan? The 1,000 Dragon Court elder roared. The Dragon Court saint, the Dragon Wind saint, and the others gritted their teeth and roared. Those young dragon race powerhouses shouted angrily. Why are you talking nonsense with him? Fight fairly? Just kill him. In an instant, more than a dozen figures soared into the sky. Lin Wuti, die. Black dragon descends. Azure dragon emerges from the sea. Heavenly dragon sword. All kinds of top-notch unique skills flew and instantly enveloped Lin Xian. Boom. Lin Xian snorted coldly. His divine body bloomed with radiance as he punched out, shattering heaven and earth. At the same time, Sword Chi swept out and cut all the young dragon race cultivators in half. Half of these people had their bodies and souls destroyed, while the other half screamed and fled. In the end, a demonic seal descended from the sky and killed all the remaining people. In the blink of an eye, more than a dozen dragon clan geniuses had fallen. Blood mist spread, and the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty people all went crazy. Damn it. Those elders also rushed over in a frenzy. Some of them even couldn't help but use their extreme Dao weapons. Let's see who dares to use an extreme-grade weapon. Don't use the Patriarch's power either. Unless the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty is tired of living, the Crimson Dragon roared. He had his eyes on some of the Patriarchs. Lin Xian made a powerful move and arrived in front of a Saint Lord Elder. Release killing intent on me? I'll give you a chance to challenge me. He punched out with a single punch. Out. The 6 Dao fists danced in the air, causing Old Yu to vomit blood and roll on the ground. Damn it. Rage of the Lightning Dragon. The old man transformed into 9 lightning dragon heads and roared into the sky. The lightning that he struck out had destructive power. Lin Xian opened and closed. A monstrous demonic energy swept across the 9 heavens. He sent the old man flying. Then, he split the old man in half. The power of the heaven's secret god eyes destroyed the old man's soul. A Saint Lord expert had fallen. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty people all went crazy. The Dragon Wind Saint roared and gathered the power of a saint to kill him. In an instant, 10 Saint Lords appeared and surrounded Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Why? A group attack? As you wish. He waved his hand, and behind him, Yin Ruyu, Monkey, and Murong Qingqing also walked out. The 4 princes faced the 10 Saint Lords and swept them in all directions. The 10 Saint Lords were instantly beaten until they vomited blood. Damn it. More came. 20 of them came. 30 saints were making a move against the 4 princes. The battle erupted, and it was abnormally terrifying. The spectators outside were all going crazy. 30 saints. What kind of terrifying strength was that? Even if the old ancestor didn't come out, it was enough to sweep everything. Lin Xian was in danger, right? But soon, they realized that wasn't the case. Lin Xian and the other 3 were sweeping everything. Heavens, is this the power of an emperor? The 4 of them together were enough to sweep everything. The Saint Lords went crazy and didn't dare to believe it. The 4 of them were able to block their attacks? Damn it. Activate our dragon bloodlines and work together to kill him. These people all belong to the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. They were all connected by dragon bloodlines and were extremely terrifying. Terrifying dragon phantoms appeared on their bodies. They were like the dragon ancestors that covered the sky. Lin Xian and the other 3 felt a huge sense of danger. Humph. Lin Xian snorted coldly. A demonic shadow appeared behind him. It was abnormally mysterious. The moment it appeared, it swept in all directions. A 7-colored phoenix phantom appeared behind Murong Qingqing. Yin Ruyu condensed a green lotus phantom. The monkey roared and swept the sky with his iron rod. At this moment, he seemed to have transformed into a battle god. The 4 of them attacked forcefully and blasted away the dragon illusions formed by the saints. The 30 Saint Lords spat out blood and retreated. Their bodies were broken and their faces were pale. Damn it. How was that possible? When the others from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty saw this scene, they all went crazy. Even 30 saints working together were defeated? Damn it. Were these 4 people heaven-defying? Even the Saint Lords couldn't suppress them. Perhaps the only one who could defeat these 4 people was the Patriarch. But peak great sage existences weren't allowed to attack. Otherwise, a quasi-emperor would attack them. Who else would come? Was the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty a bunch of trash? They couldn't even withstand a single blow. Lin Xian stood at the front and shouted coldly. His loud voice spread over. The spectators in the distance were stunned. Lin Wudi was actually so strong, as expected of an invincible great sage. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had really fallen into the hands of a young man. They probably wouldn't be able to raise their heads again. A bunch of trash. Seeing that no one dared to attack, Lin Xian snorted coldly. 10,000 Dragon Dynasty, From now on, wherever I go, all of you will submit to me. Otherwise, I will destroy your star souls. Lin Xian left behind a cold voice and then left the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Those people were so angry that they spat out blood, but no one dared to attack. Damn it, they wouldn't let him off. Those elders gritted their teeth. They swore that they would think of all sorts of ways to kill him. However, it was useless. Lin Xian swaggered out of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. He was completely unharmed. The spectators sent the news to the buried Emperor Star. For a moment, the entire buried Emperor Star was shocked. Lin Wuti actually returned to the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Moreover, he beat up the Saint Lords of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty until they spat out blood. In the end, no one dared to fight him. He stepped on the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty alone. Lin Wuti is too strong. Why do I feel that no one can fight against him? It's over. Even those princes would be overshadowed by him. Could it be that the world would be his in the future? Could he really become a great emperor? If he ruled over the world, some families didn't dare to think about it. For example, the Blue race, Dragon Sea race, Golden Crow race, and others were all terrified. Chapter 52:19. The Dragon Sea race and the Blue race were all allies of the 10,000 Dragon Court. Even the 10,000 Dragon Court had been defeated. Could they resist? They would probably end up in a miserable state. Sure enough, they were attacked. It was not Lin Xian who attacked. It was the Divine Union and their allies. For example, the Nalan family and the Linghu family attacked. They wanted to take back what they had lost. In an instant, the Dragon Sea race, the Blue race, the Golden Crow race, and the other families were all heavily injured. The buried Emperor Star was shaken once again. For example, the people from the monarch clans all had serious expressions. This was especially true for the imperial princes. They felt immense pressure. They had never thought that a young man who was not a prince would make them feel like they were facing a great enemy. Damn it! Qianzi gritted his teeth, his eyes emitting an extremely cold killing intent. On the other side, Kuan-Pengzi also took a deep breath. Previously, he had fought with the Dragon Prince. Now that the Dragon Prince was dead, was he going to fight with Lin Xian? Gu Feng's expression was even colder. Damn it! Since his debut, he had been suppressed by Lin Xian. This was driving him crazy. Just you wait. One day, I will trample you under my feet. He swore. The entire buried Emperor Star was talking about Lin Xian. As for Lin Xian, he had already disappeared. No one knew where he had gone. In fact, he had joined forces with Murong Qingcheng to cultivate. The previous battle had given him a deep understanding. Now, he had to cultivate properly. He knew that those people would not let this matter rest. Gradually, the battle stopped. Everyone began to cultivate once again. Those princes and top sky prides were crazily increasing their strength. As for those big families and sects, they were also recuperating. In the previous battle, too many of their elites had fallen. The Holy Abyss ancient city had also quieted down. However, countless legends had already spread here, especially legends about Lin Xian and the Divine Union. The three great orthodoxies were still places where countless geniuses wanted to enter. Previously, the three great orthodoxies had their own victories and defeats. However, it was different now. People from all over the world, and even people from the universe had all come. They had all arrived at the three great orthodoxies. All of them were vying to enter the Tao. When the people of the Heaven sect and the Earth sect heard this, they shook their heads and sighed. Very few people want to join them. There was no other way. Lin Wuti emerged from the Taoism and became famous throughout the world. This was especially so when the other party did not have an imperial bloodline, yet he was able to kill an imperial bloodline and even make the imperial bloodline bow their heads. This was simply a heaven-defying feat. Therefore, he was treated as an idol by countless young geniuses. Everyone wanted to be like him, so these people had to join the Tao. More importantly, they wanted to join the Divine Union. For a moment, the elders of the Tao were grinning from ear to ear. They realized that supporting Lin Xian was the right choice. If this continued, They would be able to surpass the celestial sect and the earth sect in terms of their Tao and stand above everything else. This was all because of Lin Xian. In the Divine Union, Bai Susu and the others were overjoyed. The Dragon Palace no longer existed. The Divine Union had become the #1 power in the Tao and gathered the best geniuses. The others couldn't compare to them at all. If this continued, they didn't dare imagine how much the Divine Union could grow. Lin Xian did not care about these things. At this moment, he was living in seclusion and cultivating peacefully with Morong Qingqing. The quintessential world, which was also the origin star, was the place where everything had started. Previously, when the spatial passage to the buried Emperor's star had been opened, the quintessential world had quickly recovered. The aura on it had become extremely mysterious, and the strength of the people on it had also increased rapidly. In the past, the quintessential world did not even have a sage. However, many sages had appeared now, and even some pinnacle figures had appeared. Of course, it was still incomparable to the buried Emperor's star. However, it was much more terrifying than the stars in other universes. Everyone knew that the quintessential world was extremely mysterious and had some ancient legends. Even the people of the buried Emperor's star did not dare to be too presumptuous. On this day, in the central region of the quintessential world, the earth trembled. The earth trembled as a huge crack spread out. Then, the void was torn apart. Countless rays of light danced between heaven and earth. This phenomenon shocked everyone in the quintessential world. What had happened? Countless people looked up. The quintessential world had sacred grounds and some terrifying sections. Even the emperor clans had residences and territories here. At this moment, they were all looking up at the sky with shocked expressions. The same was true for the deity's palace in the central region. What was that? They were all astonished. Quickly go and investigate. The people from the deity's palace all went to investigate. It was not only them. The sacred grounds and sects of the quintessential world were also doing the same. However, they soon discovered that the rays of light had disappeared. However, something astonishing had appeared under the ground. A huge crack had appeared in the central region. Everyone went to investigate and discovered that there was an ancient city under the crack. It had a majestic aura and carried the vicissitudes of life. This was in existence from tens of thousands of years ago. It had actually been preserved so well. Could it be that there was a heaven-shaking secret hidden here? There must be countless treasures buried here. Everyone prepared to investigate. However, they were all repelled by a power. Some experts were unwilling to accept this and tried to force their way in. As a result, their bodies were instantly torn apart and turned into blood mist. The others were terrified. They no longer dared to act blindly without thinking. Instead, they stood there in bewilderment. It was best not to offend such an ancient and mysterious existence. After waiting for about a month, the gate of the ancient city opened and a few figures walked out. These were all young figures. They soared into the sky and looked in all directions. These young figures were all wearing ancient Taoist robes. They carried an ancient aura. As soon as they appeared, they arrived above the 9 heavens. There were actually people inside. The sacred grounds and sects of the quintessential world were all stunned. What an ancient city this was! These people were all from the ancient era. They did not dare to believe it. No one could live for such a long time. Those young figures arrived in the sky. They looked down with incomparably cold expressions. At this moment, a terrifying light came from the ancient city below again. It formed a golden heavenly steel that stood in the void. What was this thing? Countless people were stunned. However, this golden heavenly steel was constantly flickering with a mysterious light. The aura of laws on it flew in all directions, piercing through the universe. After about a day, all the lights flew back. Then, names formed one after another on the golden heavenly steel. This was? Countless people were stunned. They realized that each of the names on the list was extremely amazing. At this moment, all of them were gathered on this golden heavenly steel. What kind of method was this? Also, who were the people in the city below? Why were they doing this? Chapter 52:20. The few youths who had walked out from the city below looked at the golden sky steel. Then, they soared into the sky and flew in all directions. The people of the quintessential world were shocked, but no one dared to go down to investigate. They could only wait. At the same time, the myriad worlds were in an uproar. After the battle between the Divine Union and the 10,000 Dragon Court, the buried Emperor's star gradually quieted down. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that such a top-level battle wouldn't happen again in a short period of time. However, on this day, the various large families and sects welcomed a figure. Of course, only the top families and sects knew. The others seemed to be at a loss. A mysterious figure also descended from the Sky Sect and the Earth Sect in the Holy Abyss ancient city. It was a man wearing an ancient robe. He had a handsome face and a mysterious aura. His arrival caused the people on the road to be astonished. The Tao Sect's guard said, "Young master, please wait. You're not from the Tao, right? Furthermore, the Tao's test has already ended. If you want to join, please come back next year." "I want to see the Tao's patriarch," the mysterious man said. The moment he said that, the others went into an uproar. Many people laughed. Who was this kid? He was so arrogant. He wanted to see the Tao's patriarch the moment he arrived? That's right. Did he think he was an emperor? Or Lin Wudi? Who gave him such face? These people shook their heads. The two guards also wanted to say something. However, the mysterious man snorted coldly. He emitted a mysterious aura from his body and directly flew into the passageway. "How dare you attack our Tao?" The guards drew their swords and sabers. The mysterious man before them was very mysterious. Who knew if the 10,000 Dragon Court was going to attack again? Just as the battle was about to start, a voice came from the depths of the Tao sect. "Everyone, stop and let him in." The surrounding people were stunned. They could tell that it was the savage wilderness patriarch's voice. Heavens, could he really see the patriarch? Countless people went into an uproar. The guards also put away their swords and sabers and said respectfully, "Young master, please." They were also shocked. Who exactly was this person before them? The mysterious man was very fast. Soon, he arrived at the core region of the Tao sect. The guards retreated, and the elders of the core region personally led the way. Elder Bai led the way. He was also puzzled. Who was this person? However, he didn't dare to ask too many questions. Elder Bai led him to the great ancestor's residence and left. However, he was even more puzzled now. "Come in." A voice rang out from within the mansion. It was the voice of the savage ancestor. With a wave of his sleeve, the surrounding formation disappeared, and the man in Taoist robes walked in. Two figures stood in the courtyard. One was Patriarch Desolation, and the other was Patriarch Fantasy World. The two of them looked at the young man in front of them with grave expressions. "That aura just now was unleashed by you?" Savage Desolation Ancestor asked. "Where are you from?" The Illusory World Ancestor also spoke. The man in the Taoist robe did not say anything. He waved his hand and took out a badge. It was a simple and unadorned token. A palace was drawn on it, and it seemed as if it was about to fly into the clouds. It seemed to be unusually ethereal and mysterious. When they saw the token, the bodies of the Savage Ancestor and the Fantasy World Ancestor shook. Their scalps went numb. In the next moment, they were so excited that their eyes turned red. Had it finally appeared? The sound of something tearing through the air could be heard in the distance. Two more figures arrived, a man and a woman. They were the other two patriarchs. When they arrived and saw the token, they also cried out in surprise. It had appeared. The stars and Fantasy World Ancestor's eyes flickered. "I always thought that it was an ancient legend. I didn't expect it to really appear." Patriarch Barbarian God laughed out loud. "Young master, please." They became extremely respectful towards the young man. The young man nodded and followed. They walked inside. The four patriarchs arrived at the deepest part of the Tao. There was an ancient palace there that was currently sealed. The four patriarchs formed hand seals and tore open the seal. They walked in. There was a statue there. It was a man with an extraordinary aura. Auspicious clouds surrounded his body, and wind and clouds gathered under his feet. It was as if he was about to become an immortal. He seemed to be holding a token in his hand. Although it was a statue, one could clearly see that the token was the same as the one in the Taoist robed man's hand. Fantasy World Ancestor, and the others bowed respectfully to the statue. Greetings, ancestor of the Tao sect. This man was the founder of the Tao sect. He was the one who created the Tao sect. In fact, it wasn't just the Tao sect. The Sky sect and the Earth sect were the same. At the core of each sect, there was a statue like this. Moreover, these three people came from the same place. This place was hidden mysteriously, and no one had mentioned it for tens of thousands of years. Even the elders of the Tao sect didn't know about it. Only the patriarchs of the three great orthodoxies knew about it. However, they were skeptical and treated it as a legend. But now, a mysterious man came with a token in his hand. This shocked them. They knew that the ancient rumors were all true. The mysterious man looked at the statue in front of him and bowed. Then, he looked at the four patriarchs and said in a deep voice, "The Yuhua immortal dynasty has opened again. I'm here on orders to invite the geniuses of the current era." "May I know who they are?" Fantasy World Ancestor asked. Jade Pool's successor, Morong Qingqing. Azure Emperor's successor, Yin Ruyu. Sun Qiqian. These three people were the top geniuses who had displayed powerful strength in the battle with the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. They were all at the imperial level. Therefore, the four patriarchs weren't surprised at all. But after waiting for a while, they were puzzled. Savage Wilderness Ancestor asked, "Just these three people? From what I know, these three people have an extraordinary relationship with your Tao sect, so I came to invite them. I heard that the other one is the Dragon Prince, but he has already fallen, so he is no longer within the summoning list." "What about Lin Xian?" Fantasy World Ancestor said. Although these three people had an extraordinary relationship with their Tao sect, they weren't from the Tao sect. They all had their own families and sections. Strictly speaking, only Lin Xian could be considered a member of their Tao sect. But now, the other party didn't mention Lin Xian's name at all. Lin Xian? The mysterious man frowned slightly. Barbarian King Patriarch said, "Lin Xian, Lin Wudi, his name should appear in the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty. It's impossible to summon him without him." The mysterious man frowned and looked at the Yuhua token in his hand again. In the next moment, a mysterious light flickered on it, and then it turned into a blood-colored lightning bolt. The mysterious man waved his hand and said coldly, "Lin Xian, Lin Wudi, from the immortal tomb, can't be summoned." The four patriarchs were stunned. Can't be summoned? What else did they want to say? However, the mysterious man waved his hand. "There's no need to say anything. I can't make the decision on this matter, so you guys don't have to say anything either. Tell the three of them to go to the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty a year later. There was a huge opportunity waiting for them." Chapter 52:21. The Taoist-robed man left, leaving behind only the four old ancestors. The four old ancestors' expressions were incomparably solemn. People from the immortal tomb couldn't enter. How was this possible? That's right, if he was from the immortal tomb, how could he have such combat strength and kill the Emperor's son? He was almost above the Emperor's son. People from the immortal tomb definitely couldn't do this. Was there a misunderstanding? Fantasy World Old Ancestor sighed. Lin Xian was from the immortal tomb. This had been spread in Taiching Ancient City, but no one knew why he was able to cultivate until now. It was as if even the Z Mansion thought it was a mystery. There was even a time when everyone thought that the Z Mansion's prophecy was wrong. But it didn't seem to be the case now. Since the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty issued such a warning, I think Lin Xian must be from the immortal tomb. But why can he cultivate? He probably has his own secrets that we don't know. Fantasy World Old Ancestor sighed. Then what should we do? Savage Wilderness Old Ancestor said. Could it be that Lin Xian was going to miss this opportunity? If that was the case, it would be difficult for him to fight for the throne in the future. The other two old ancestors also took a deep breath. They knew what kind of existence the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty was. And what was that opportunity? It had something to do with becoming a great emperor. The top geniuses of all the worlds had been invited. Those emperors and princesses would also go. If Lin Xin didn't go, then I would be trampled under his feet forever. Fantasy World Old Ancestor said. Lin Xin wasn't summoned, but that didn't mean that he couldn't go to the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty. But even if he went, he wouldn't be able to obtain that fortune. The other old ancestors also shook their heads and sighed. Savage Wilderness Old Ancestor looked at the statue in front of him and said in a low voice, "That might not be the case. We still have a chance. Could it be that you want to?" Fantasy World Old Ancestor was also surprised. Savage Wilderness Old Ancestor nodded. That's right, that was his plan. The other three old ancestors hesitated. It wasn't easy for the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty to open once. As for Lin Xin's talent and strength, I don't think I need to say it. You all have seen it for yourselves. It was even rarer to encounter these two. This time around, if we were to give up, who knows how many tens of thousands of years it would take for the Dao sect to obtain such an opportunity again. For Daozhong, I think it's time for us to do something. I understand. Fantasy World Patriarch nodded. The other two patriarchs agreed. All right, let's summon them then. He passed the order to Elder Bai, asking him to find Lin Xin and the others. When Lin Xin heard the news, he was also stunned. Why did the ancestors want to see them? Elder Bai shook his head. He didn't know. However, he recalled that mysterious figure. Perhaps it was related to that person. Monkey King had already left. Other than Lin Xian, there were only Morong Qingqing and Yen Ruyu. The three of them followed Elder Bai to the Ancestor Mansion. You're here. Follow me. Fantasy World Ancestor brought the three of them to the sealed hall. After entering, Lin Xian and the other two felt a mysterious aura. The statue in front of them shocked them even more. Savage Wilderness Ancestor said, "This is the founder of our Dao sect, Ancestor Dao Abyss." Lin Xian was shocked. Morong Qingqing and the others were also shocked. The founder of the Dao sect was also a shocking figure back then. The three of them bowed respectfully. Then, Lin Xian asked, "Why did Ancestor call us here?" Fantasy World Ancestor asked, "Have you heard of the Yuhua Celestial Dynasty?" Yuhua Celestial Dynasty. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Yen Ruyu and Morong Qingqing were stunned. I've heard of this legend. It's a terrifying faction. It's said that this immortal grass is extremely terrifying. It's not from the Emperor race, but it's even more terrifying than the Emperor race. I heard that the Yuhua Celestial Dynasty wanted to ascend to the immortal realm, but they failed. It seems like you know something. Fantasy World Ancestor nodded. The origin of the Yuhua Celestial Dynasty is very mysterious. We don't know the details, but we know that it's a terrifying faction. It once stood at the peak of the universe. Lin Xian was shocked. Could it be that this was a great emperor's family that produced a great emperor? Fantasy World Ancestor said that there was indeed a great emperor, and it was an extremely terrifying one. He even wanted to use his own strength to ascend to the immortal realm with the entire dynasty. Lin Xian was even more shocked after hearing this. What kind of extravagance was this? How terrifying was this person? There are many legends about the Yuhua Celestial Grass. We don't know if they're true or not. This is because countless years have passed. This is at least 1,000,000 years ago. Even now, no one knows. Then why did Ancestor call us here? Don't be anxious. Listen to us. The Yuhua Celestial Dynasty produced countless experts back then. 3 of them had a good relationship and were like brothers. They came out to train together and came to the buried Emperor Star. Then, they opened up a city and formed 3 sections. The city was also built by them together, forming a terrifying force. Lin Xian was stunned when he heard this. He looked at the statue in front of him and exclaimed, "Could it be the 3 great orthodoxies? Holy Abyss Ancient City." That's right. Savage World Ancestor said that the founder of the Dao sect was someone from the Yuhua Celestial Dynasty. The other 2 were the founders of the Heaven sect and the Earth sect. As expected, Lin Xian was shocked. Yen Ruyu and Morong Qingqing were even more shocked. They didn't expect the 3 great orthodoxies to be related to the Yuhua Celestial Dynasty. It was too unbelievable. This had always been spread among the ancestors of the Dao sect. The other elders didn't know about it at all. We even thought that these were just legends. But just now, the people from the Yuhua celestial dynasty came. What? Murong Qingqing and Yin Ruyu were stunned. The people from the Yuhua celestial dynasty came? Impossible. They were existences from millions of years ago and had long disappeared without a trace. How could they appear? If they had news, the emperor race would have known long ago. It was impossible. The Yuhua celestial dynasty had always existed, but it was sealed. The seal would open once every few 100,000 years, and the interval between each time was too long, so no one could remember. So until now, they all thought that it had disappeared. This time, your luck is very good. You actually encountered the Yuhua celestial dynasty when the seal was unsealed. The Yuhua celestial dynasty sent someone to invite you. The Yuhua celestial dynasty was an extremely mysterious existence. It was extremely helpful for one to become a great emperor. If one could obtain the fortune inside, they could even become an immortal in the future. Therefore, your fortuitous encounter is very heaven-defying. Really? Yin Ruyu and Murong Qingcheng were overjoyed. Indeed, it opened once every few 100,000 years. Sometimes, even great emperors couldn't be encountered, but they could. Lin Xian also smiled. Become a great emperor, or even an immortal? He clenched his fists. His strength could increase again there. However, Ancestor Huan Shi's expression was solemn. The Yuhua celestial dynasty invited the top geniuses. You are also qualified. Qingqing and Ruyu, both of you are invited. But Ancestor Huan Shi looked at Lin Xian and remained silent. Murong Qingqing said, Brother Xian was naturally more qualified. He was an existence who killed the Dragon Prince. Yin Ruyu also said, That's right. Lin Xian frowned slightly. Could it be that something had changed? Chapter 52-22. Seeing Lin Xian's confusion, Fantasy World Ancestor said, You should know that you are from the immortal graveyard, right? Hearing this, Lin Xian's pupils constricted. Damn it, he said. Could it be because of this? Fantasy World Ancestor nodded. Yes, it was because of this. You weren't invited? Murong Qingqing's expression also changed. Brother Xian had no fate with the Yuhua immortal dynasty. This was a fatal blow to a young supreme being. Was there no other way? Yin Ruyu also asked. Savage Wilderness Ancestor said, Yes, this is the reason why I called you here. Firstly, I wanted to inform you to go to the Yuhua immortal dynasty. Secondly, I wanted to solve the problem of Lin Xian not being able to go. What is it? Lin Xian also asked. Savage Wilderness Ancestor looked at the statue in front of him and said, The founder of our Dao is from the Yuhua immortal dynasty. He has the Yuhua token. Among the disciples of the later generations, with the Yuhua immortal token, they have one chance to go to the Yuhua immortal dynasty to fight for the so-called opportunity. There is only one chance, so we have decided to give it to you. Lin Xian was also shocked when he heard this. There was only one chance in the entire Dao, no matter how many tens of thousands of years it had been passed down. He had never used it before. Was he going to give it to him this time? He knew how heavy it was. He took a deep breath and said, Ancestors, don't worry. When I become the great emperor, I will definitely let the Dao stand at the peak of the universe. We believe in you, and we have high hopes for you. The four old ancestors nodded. Then, they walked forward and bowed respectfully. Then, they formed a seal and took off the Yuhua token and gave it to Lin Xian. After Lin Xian received it, he took a deep breath. He definitely wouldn't disappoint his master. All right, go back and prepare. A year later, they would head to the Yuhua immortal dynasty in the true spirit world. Lin Xian and the other two returned. After returning, Murong Qingcheng and Yin Ruyu had to return to their respective families. After all, they had to make some preparations. Lin Xian nodded. See you in a year. It wasn't just them. Sky Sect, Earth Sect, and the Emperor race. Some top families and sects were also summoned. Those top dazzling geniuses were extremely excited. 1 year later, in the Yuhua immortal dynasty, they would definitely not miss this mysterious opportunity. People like Gu Feng and Kuan Pingzi clenched their fists. If they could obtain this opportunity, then they would be able to surpass Lin Xian. Some clans even received news that Lin Xian was from the immortal burial ground and wasn't invited. Many people laughed happily. Haha, Lin Xian will miss out on a great opportunity. From now on, he will be trampled under our feet. Many of them became complacent. There were also some people who were worried and asked about it. In the end, they learned that Lin Xian was in seclusion. He was fully prepared for the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty 1 year later. This made the Divine Union members heave a sigh of relief. Humph, let's see who will be trampled underfoot then. 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had solemn expressions on their faces. During this year, they were really anxious. Originally, the Dragon Prince was going to get this slot. If the Dragon Prince could get in, he would be one step closer to becoming a great emperor. After all, the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty only opened once every few 100,000 years. This was a great fortune. But now the Dragon Prince was dead. Who would they send? Even the old ancestor couldn't decide. In the end, they could only summon the Dragon Tomb Old Ancestor and let him decide. Half a year later, Lord Dragon Tomb returned with a woman. That woman's face was pale, but her expression was extremely cold. Her aura was terrifying. The old ancestors of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were shocked. What a terrifying Dragon Dao aura. They all looked at Lord Dragon Tomb. Lord Dragon Tomb said that he would be the young master of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty in the future. Her name was Long Wu. Long Wu. The pupils of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty's old ancestors constricted. But soon, they realized that this woman had the same name as the Dragon Prince. But the words were different. Could it be that it was fated? The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty definitely didn't doubt Lord Dragon Tomb. This was the Tomb Keeper personally chosen by the Dragon Emperor. Thus, they hurriedly said, "Don't worry, Lord Dragon Tomb. Long Wu will be our young master in the future. We will do our best to nurture her." Lord Dragon Tomb nodded and then left the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Long Wu indeed didn't disappoint the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Although Long Wu wasn't an empress, her talent was top-notch. If they nurtured her with all their might, her future achievements wouldn't be inferior to the Dragon Prince. They all clenched their fists. Humph, Lin Wudi, so what if you're strong? We've also found someone who can compete with you. Now, they also knew that the imperial bloodline wasn't the strongest. Lin Xian didn't have the imperial bloodline, but wasn't he also heaven-defying? Now that they had found Long Wu, they could also nurture her into the second Lin Wudi. Moreover, they decided to let Long Wu participate in the Yuhua Celestial Dynasty this time. In the blink of an eye, a year passed. The top geniuses of the buried Emperor Star and even the other worlds all took a deep breath. They all set off. True Spirit World, Yuhua Celestial Dynasty. Lin Xian also set off and met up with Murong Qingqing and Yin Ruyu. They returned together. True Spirit World. After returning, Lin Xian was filled with emotions. True Spirit World had become even more mysterious and powerful. No one dared to underestimate this world. Even the Yuhua Celestial Dynasty had appeared here. Who knew if there were even more mysterious existences here? At this moment, the Yuhua Celestial Dynasty had already been known by the world. The people of True Spirit World also knew about it. No one dared to go there and behave atrociously. That place had become a sacred place. Moreover, everyone discovered that there wasn't only one city in the Yuhua Celestial Dynasty. At this moment, it seemed that they were still sealed. But just one city alone was enough to make everyone exclaim in surprise. How terrifying was the Yuhua Celestial Dynasty back then? It was an existence that stood at the peak of the myriad worlds. It was an existence that almost reached the immortal realm. These people all arrived outside the Yuhua Celestial Dynasty. At the same time, figures flew out from the Yuhua Celestial Dynasty from time to time and brought these people in. When Lin Xian and the others arrived, a man in a Taoist robe had already appeared in front of them. This man looked at Yin Ruyu and Murong Qingqing and nodded slightly. But soon, he frowned. He said, "Sun Qitian didn't come?" Murong Qingqing said, "We don't know where he is now." The man in the Taoist robe narrowed his eyes. When he saw Lin Xian, he frowned. Who are you? I'm Lin Xian. It's you. The man in the Taoist robe had a cold expression. Didn't anyone tell you? You are from the immortal graveyard. You can't come here. I naturally know, but I brought this with me. Lin Xian waved his hand and took out a token. Yuhua Celestial Token. The man in the Taoist robe's pupils constricted and his face was filled with surprise. I didn't expect Daozhong to give this to you. It seemed that they were going to stake it all on this. He nodded slightly. Since you came with an immortal token, you naturally have the qualifications. The three of you, follow me. He turned around and flew towards the ancient city below. Lin Xian and the other two followed and soon entered. They discovered that there were figures entering continuously. Clearly, these were all top geniuses. They wondered what was waiting for them in the Yuhua Celestial Dynasty. Lin Xian and the others were filled with anticipation. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.